There is a deep and pervasive exhaustion that hums beneath the surface of modern life. A frantic energy of perpetual motion. Imagine it. Feel it for a moment. The sensation of running on a treadmill that never stops. You are chasing something. Always. A promotion. A specific person's affection. A number in a bank account that you believe will finally grant you permission to breathe. You've been told this is the way. That success is a conquest. That to get what you want, you must hunt it down with relentless force. You run faster. You push harder. You optimize every waking moment. Yet the finish line seems to recede with every step you take. This is the energy of the chase, the masculine paradigm of striving, and it is draining the life force from you. But what if this entire model is flawed? What if the fundamental mechanics of reality, the very laws of the universe, operate on a principle that is the complete opposite of this exhausting pursuit? Consider that your constant, desperate chase is the very thing creating a powerful, energetic headwind, pushing your desires further and further away from you. The state of wanting is a profound declaration to the cosmos. It is a vibrational statement that says, I do not have, and the universe, in its impersonal, impartial wisdom, can only echo back to you the energy you emit. The vibration of lack can only attract more lack. The frequency of the chase only manifests more things to chase. There is, however, another way, a path that is not about doing more, but about being more. It is a path of profound stillness, of deep inner alignment. It is the path of becoming a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run up and down the coastline, frantically searching for ships to save. It simply anchors itself to the rock, tends to its own inner light, and shines. It becomes so rooted in its own purpose, so radiant and unwavering, that the ships, representing your dreams, your ideal relationships, your inspired opportunities, simply find their way to its shores. This is the essence of true feminine energy, not as a gender, but as a universal force. It is the power of receptivity, of allowance, of becoming so utterly and completely yourself that you become a magnet for all that is meant for you. This journey we are about to embark upon, guided by the timeless wisdom found in the world's most powerful audiobooks on spiritual law and self-realization, is your map. It is your guide to turning off the treadmill, to stop chasing, and to finally learn the forgotten, sacred art of receiving. It is your initiation into becoming magnetic. Let us begin by descending into the feeling itself, the raw, physical reality of the chase. It lives in your body. It is the tightness in your shoulders as you lean over a keyboard late at night, fueled by a third cup of coffee and the gnawing fear that you are falling behind an invisible competitor. It is the shallow breath you take when you check your phone for the 10th time in an hour, waiting for a message, a validation, an answer that you believe holds the key to your peace. It is the hollow pit in your stomach when a launch doesn't perform as expected, or a potential partner doesn't call you back. A feeling that you interpret not as a simple event, but as a verdict on your worth. This state of being is a dissonant symphony of anxiety, a low-grade hum of panic that has become so constant, you've mistaken it for the soundtrack of ambition. You tell yourself it is the price of success, the necessary sacrifice for greatness. But this is a profound deception. You are not paying a price. You are being consumed. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It is a symptom of deep energetic misalignment. The constant disappointment is not a series of unfortunate events. It is the predictable, inevitable harvest of seeds planted in the soil of desperation. You are a ghost at the feast of your own life, always looking ahead to the next course, never tasting the nourishment that is right in front of you. This experience is not just a psychological phenomenon. It is a matter of physics. The universe is an ocean of vibration, and you are a transmitting tower, constantly broadcasting a signal that determines what flows back to you. The energy of the chase is one of the lowest, most discordant frequencies you can emit. It is the screeching static of not enough. When you are desperately chasing money, you are screaming into the cosmos, "I am poor. I am in lack." When you are frantically pursuing a person's love, your energetic signature is a blinking, flashing neon sign that reads, "I am not whole without you. I am incomplete." The universe, in its perfect, unwavering adherence to its own laws, does not judge your message. It does not analyze your intentions or reward your effort. It simply matches your frequency. It acts as a perfect mirror, reflecting your inner state back to you as your outer reality. So the chase for money only creates more bills to chase. The pursuit of love only manifests more reasons to feel lonely and unloved. You are running on a hamster wheel of your own making, and the wheel itself is powered by the very belief that you need to run to get somewhere. This is the ultimate cosmic paradox. Your desperate effort to close the gap between you and your desire is what holds the gap in place. It is here that we must draw a critical, life-altering distinction, for fear that you might mistake this wisdom for a call to passivity. The alternative to the chase is not inaction. It is the transfiguration of action itself. We must learn to differentiate between action born of desperation and action born of inspiration. Desperate action comes from the calculating, fearful mind. It feels heavy, obligatory. It is the email you write and rewrite 10 times, trying to manipulate the perfect response. It is the networking you do with a tight smile, handing out business cards while your soul feels like it's selling a piece of itself. It is driven by the if-then equation of the ego. If I do this, then I will get that. And more potently, if I don't do this, something terrible will happen. It is an attempt to control, to manage, to force the universe into a specific channel that your limited mind can comprehend. Inspired action, however, is born from the soul. It arises from the stillness you cultivate within. It does not feel like a chore. It feels like a current of energy moving through you. It is often spontaneous, arriving as a sudden urge, a gentle nudge, a creative idea that seems to drop into your mind from nowhere. It feels light, expansive, and often profoundly simple. It is calling an old friend out of the blue, only to find they have the exact connection you need. It is the sudden desire to take a different route home, where you discover a shop or a park that brings you immense joy. It is the words that flow effortlessly when you speak your truth, without calculation or agenda. Desperate action tries to build a dam and force the river. Inspired action is learning to feel the river's current and placing your boat in its flow. One depletes you, the other energizes you. One is the chase, the other is the dance. The most insidious aspect of the chase is how it outsources your sense of self. It makes you a beggar for external validation. Your happiness becomes conditional, a fragile construct dependent on factors entirely outside of your control. You give the keys to your inner peace to your boss, to your clients, to your romantic interests, to the anonymous commenters on the internet. Their approval becomes your sun, their disapproval, your winter. You live in a state of perpetual performance, contorting yourself into a version of you that you think others will find acceptable, valuable, or lovable. And in this endless act, you lose the most precious thing. You have the connection to your authentic self, the lighthouse keeper within. Perhaps no one has diagnosed this condition of the modern human mind more brilliantly than Eckhart Tolle in his seminal work, The Power of Now. As you listen to this audiobook, you begin to understand that the frantic need to chase is not truly you. It is the voice of the egoic mind, a conditioned, collective thought form that cannot survive in the present moment. The ego lives entirely in the past, which it uses for identity through grievances and attachment, and the future, which it uses as a promise of salvation or a threat of doom. The ego's favorite phrase is, "I will be happy when." I will be happy when I get the promotion, when I lose the weight, when I find the partner, when I move to a new city. Tolle reveals this when as the greatest lie we tell ourselves, a perpetually receding horizon that keeps us from ever arriving in the only place where life actually exists, the now. The chase is the ego's lifeblood. It is a constant projection away from the present moment. Tolle's guidance is not to fight this mind, but to observe it without judgment, to become the silent witness behind the thoughts. When you can watch the frantic, chasing mind without being swept away by it, a space of stillness emerges. And in that stillness, you find what you were chasing all along: a sense of peace, wholeness, and a profound power that does not need to strive because it already is. He speaks of the pain body, the accumulation of old emotional pain in our energy field, which often gets activated and drives the most desperate chasing behaviors. The chase feeds this entity, while presence dissolves it. To truly absorb this, you must hear it. Let the cadence of the words wash over you. It is a transmission, not just information. It is a powerful first step in withdrawing your energy from the frantic chase and reinvesting it into the quiet miracle of your own presence. So we see it clearly now. The chase is a state of being that is physically exhausting, energetically counterproductive, and psychologically enslaving. It is a strategy based on the flawed premise that you are separate from what you desire, and that your worth is determined by your ability to conquer it. It is a game designed by the ego, a game you can never truly win. To recognize this is not to admit defeat. It is to awaken. It is to stand at the edge of the treadmill, your hand on the stop button, realizing for the first time that you have a choice. You can step off, and as you catch your breath, a question will naturally arise in the newfound silence. If I am not to chase, then what am I to do? To answer that, we must first understand the two great energetic principles that govern all of creation. The forces you will learn to balance in this new, magnetic way of being. We must redefine the very nature of energy itself. Moving beyond the chase and into the flow, having stepped off the treadmill of the chase, you now stand in a quiet, open space. The silence itself can feel disorienting at first. In this space, before we can learn the new way of being, we must first understand the fundamental building blocks of reality, the very currents of energy that flow through us and shape our world. To do this, we must reclaim and redefine two of the most misunderstood words in our language: masculine and feminine. It is absolutely critical that you release these words from the cages of gender. This is not about men and women. This is about the universal, archetypal polarities that exist within every single human being, within every living thing, within the cosmos itself. Think of them as yin and yang, Shiva and Shakti, the sun and the moon. They are the two primary forces whose sacred dance creates everything you see, feel, and experience. Your journey to becoming magnetic is a journey of bringing these two inner forces from a state of conflict into a state of harmonious, creative union. First, let us examine the masculine energy. This is the energy of doing, of structure, of direction. It is the force that builds, that penetrates, that organizes. Think of the sun. It is a consistent, radiant, outward shining force. The masculine principle within you is your capacity for logic, for reason, for focus, for making clear decisions. It is the architect that draws the blueprint, the surgeon who makes the precise incision, the captain who holds the ship's rudder steady in a storm. It gives form to the formless. It provides the container, the structure, the skeleton that allows for life to have shape and purpose. Without a healthy masculine energy, your dreams would remain as ethereal as clouds, beautiful but never manifesting into anything tangible. You would have 1,000 ideas, but no capacity to execute a single one. This energy is absolutely essential. It is the force that gets things done, that creates safety, and that forges a path through the wilderness. However, our modern world has not just honored the masculine, it has deified a toxic, imbalanced version of it. It has created a cult of hustle and grind. The healthy, focused energy of the masculine has been distorted into a relentless, rigid, and controlling force, stripped of all feeling and connection. This is the energy of the chase we just dissected. Unbalanced masculine energy is the micromanager who trusts no one. It is the rigid dogma that allows for no questioning. It is the relentless pursuit of goals at the cost of one's health, relationships, and soul. It builds skyscrapers that block out the sun and forgets the human beings inside. It creates spreadsheets and flowcharts for life, but has no room for mystery, for grief, for spontaneous joy, burnout, anxiety, and a deep sense of meaninglessness are the inevitable outcomes of a life lived solely in this imbalanced state. You have been taught to build a magnificent container, but you have been forced to forget what you were meant to hold within it. That sacred content is the domain of the feminine energy. If the masculine is the sun, the feminine is the moon, with its mysterious cycles, its gentle gravitational pull, and its soft, reflective light. The feminine is the energy of being, of feeling, of intuition. It is the fertile void, the dark, rich soil from which all of life springs. It is not weak or passive. Its power is immense, but it operates differently. It is magnetic, not aggressive. It is the energy of creativity, of collaboration, of surrender. It is your connection to your body, to your emotions, to the wisdom of nature. The feminine does not move in a straight line. It spirals. It flows. It meanders. It is the artist's muse, the poet's inspiration, the healer's intuition. It is the deep, good feeling, the sudden knowing that defies all logic. It is the source of pleasure, of connection, of nurturing. It is the very purpose of the container the masculine builds. It is the light inside the lighthouse. And just as the masculine can become toxic when imbalanced, so too can the feminine. A culture that devalues and suppresses the feminine creates a wounded version of it. Unbalanced feminine energy can manifest as chaos, as victimhood, as emotional overwhelm with no direction. It is the person who is full of incredible dreams but is perpetually stuck, unable to take a single step to make them real. It is being so tossed about by the waves of emotion that you have no rudder to steer your life. It is waiting to be rescued rather than recognizing your own creative power. This, too, is a state of profound imbalance. A river without banks, flooding its potential into a formless swamp. The secret to a magnetic life, to a life of effortless receiving, lies not in choosing one energy over the other, but in becoming the sacred space where they can dance together. The ultimate metaphor for this is the river. The masculine energy forms the strong, stable banks. The banks provide direction, safety, and a clear path for the water to flow. Without the banks, the water is a stagnant mess. The feminine energy is the water itself. It is powerful, fluid, life-giving, and forever changing. It nourishes everything it touches. Without the water, the banks are just a dry, barren, and meaningless ditch. You need both to have a majestic, thriving river. So how does this translate into your life? It means you use your masculine energy to set a clear intention. You decide you want to build a business, or attract a loving partner, or achieve a state of vibrant health. You create the riverbank with your focus and your decision. But then, you must activate your feminine energy. You surrender the how. You release the rigid, step-by-step plan. You let the water of life flow. You listen to your intuition. You follow the synchronicities. You take inspired action when it feels light and joyful. And you allow yourself to rest and receive when that feels right. You use your masculine energy to build a beautiful chalice for your life, your schedule, your home, your financial plan, but you use your feminine energy to be the divine wine that fills it, the joy, the pleasure, the connection, the spontaneity. A person living in this balance can create a detailed business plan masculine, but will joyfully throw it all out the window when a surprising, intuitive opportunity presents itself feminine. They can make a logical pro and con list masculine, but will ultimately make the decision that just feels right in their body feminine. They have the discipline to go to the gym masculine, but also the wisdom to skip it for a day of pure, unproductive rest when their body asks for it feminine. This sacred rest is not laziness. It is an act of devotion to the feminine. It is how you refill the well, so that the water of your life can continue to flow for generations. You have been taught to worship the riverbank and to fear the water. You have been told to trust only in logic and to dismiss your feelings as frivolous or untrustworthy. You have been trained to be an exceptional builder of containers, while starving for the very life force they were meant to hold. The exhaustion of the chase is the exhaustion of a riverbank with no water. It is dry, brittle, and pointless. The journey to becoming magnetic is the journey of inviting the sacred waters of the feminine back into your life. It is about trusting your flow, honoring your feelings, and remembering that your power does not come from pushing the river, but from becoming it. Now that we understand this divine architecture within us, this sacred interplay of doing and being, of giving and receiving, we can finally begin to see why the simple, raw feeling of wanting something so fiercely is a profound disruption to this holy dance, and how it effectively dams the very river you are wishing to become. Now that you understand the sacred inner dance of the masculine and feminine energies, we must address the single greatest obstacle to their harmony. We must confront the saboteur of magnetism, the silent repellent that masquerades as intense desire. We must talk about the void of wanting. Consider this: the very act of intense, needy wanting is an act of energetic violence against your own desire. Imagine you are holding a powerful magnet, designed to draw your dreams to you, but in your desperation, you are holding it backward. With every ounce of your focus, with every pleading thought, you are not pulling your desire closer, but are actively, forcefully pushing it away. This is the tragic and deeply misunderstood physics of creation. Your craving is what keeps you from having. The universe does not communicate in the complexities of human language. It does not understand your eloquent justifications, your heartfelt pleas, or your carefully constructed vision boards as words or images. The cosmos communicates in a single, brutally honest language, the language of frequency. Every emotion you feel, every state of being you inhabit, broadcasts a specific, measurable vibrational signal into the quantum field. When you are steeped in the feeling of wanting something, the actual frequency you are emitting is not one of desire, but one of profound, screaming lack. The thought, "I want more money," is registered by the universe as the feeling, I am without money, I am poor. The prayer, please, I want to find a partner, is broadcast as the raw, unfiltered vibration of, I am lonely, I am incomplete. The universe, being the flawless and impartial mirror that it is, has no choice but to reflect your broadcast back to you. It cannot give you what you are asking for with your words. It can only give you more of what you are being with your vibration. And so, the frequency of I am poor can only attract more bills, more unexpected expenses, more circumstances that solidify the feeling of being poor. The vibration of I am lonely can only manifest more empty nights, more disappointing dates, more experiences that amplify the feeling of being alone. You are caught in a feedback loop, where your wanting creates a reality of lack, which in turn gives you more evidence to justify your wanting. It is a perfect, self-sustaining trap. The antidote to wanting is not to abandon your desires, but to transmute the energy behind them. You must shift from the needy, grasping energy of wanting to the calm, centered, and sovereign energy of knowing. Let's compare them. Wanting is the energy of the ego. It is fixed on the gap between you and your desire. It is anxious, impatient, and controlling. It feels like staring at a closed door, rattling the handle, convinced that your happiness lies on the other side. Knowing, on the other hand, is the energy of the soul, of your higher self. It is not focused on the gap, but on the certainty of the outcome. It feels peaceful, patient, and surrendered. It is the feeling of sitting calmly in a beautiful restaurant, not anxiously tapping your fingers, but enjoying the ambiance. Knowing with unshakable certainty that a master chef is preparing your perfect meal, and it will arrive at the absolutely perfect moment. Wanting is the frantic, chasing masculine energy in its toxic form. Knowing is the receptive, trusting, magnetic feminine energy in its divine form. You have seen the proof of this law everywhere. Think of the person who is desperately, obsessively searching for love. Their energy repels potential partners because it communicates neediness. It silently screams, I need you to fix my loneliness. They go on endless dates that lead nowhere. They try too hard. They text too much. Their frantic energy suffocating any potential spark before it can catch fire. Then, at some point, they surrender. They give up the chase. They decide to find joy in their own company. They take up a new hobby. They travel. They deepen their friendships. They build a life that they genuinely love. All by themselves. They stop broadcasting the frequency of lack and start emitting the pure, radiant frequency of wholeness. And what happens then? Almost without fail, someone wonderful appears, as if from nowhere. They were not attracted to the chasing, but to the shining. They were attracted to the wholeness, not the void. This person didn't get love and then become whole. They became whole. And then love appeared as a perfect reflection. The brilliant teachers, Esther and Jerry Hicks, in their paradigm-shifting audiobook, Ask and It Is Given, offer a powerful framework for understanding this process. They describe a vibrational reality they call the vortex. The concept is this: every time you experience life, and a desire is born within you, a desire for more joy, more clarity, more abundance, anything at all, a rocket of desire is launched. And a fully formed vibrational version of that reality is instantly created for you and held in this energetic vortex. Everything you have ever asked for is there, waiting for you. It is done. It is complete. Your work is not to build it, or chase it, or beg for it. Your only work is to get into vibrational alignment with what is already there. From this perspective, Wanting is the state of standing outside your vortex, with your face pressed against the glass, pointing at all the wonderful things inside and lamenting that you don't have them. This very act of pointing out your lack is what locks the door and keeps you outside. The emotions of doubt, worry, jealousy, and desperation are your vibrational proof that you are not in the vortex. The key to entering is to cultivate the feeling of being inside before your physical reality has caught up. The emotions that match the frequency of your vortex are joy, appreciation, love, passion, and excitement. Your job is not to chase the thing, but to chase the feeling. When you find a way to feel good now, for no other reason than you've decided to, you begin to tune your own frequency to match the frequency of all that you've asked for. You open the door from the inside. So how do we begin to make this monumental shift from wanting to knowing? From lack to having the master tool is appreciation. You cannot simultaneously feel the desperation of lack and the genuine warmth of gratitude. They are mutually exclusive vibrations. The practice is to deliberately, consciously take your focus off of what is missing and place it squarely on what is present. If you want a new car, instead of obsessing over the car you don't have, you can flood your being with overwhelming gratitude for the legs that carry you, for the public transportation that serves you, for the simple miracle of mobility. If you crave a relationship, instead of focusing on the empty space beside you, you can amplify the love that already exists in your life. The love for a friend, a family member, a pet, or for the beauty of a sunset. This is not about pretending, it is about shifting your dominant point of attraction. It is about choosing to activate the frequency of abundance with the materials you already have. This practice tells the universe, more of this, please. You are moving your energetic signature from "I need to thank you," which the universe hears as "I have," and it will gladly give you more to have. This is the great secret. You must close the void of wanting, not by finally getting the thing you desire, but by removing the void itself. You do this by filling it with the golden energy of gratitude, trust, and knowing. You must feel it first. You must be it first. The state of having must precede the actual having. But this, of course, leads to the most profound and practical question of all. How can I possibly feel abundant when a part of me feels so broken? How can I feel worthy of love when I carry so much shame? How can I know that good things are coming to me when a deep, hidden belief whispers that I don't deserve them? Before you can truly master the state of knowing, you must first build the unshakable bedrock upon which it stands. You must excavate your foundation and rebuild it with radical, unapologetic self-worth. We have journeyed through the energetic chaos of the chase and arrived at the quiet truth that your reality is a mirror of your frequency. We've seen that the vibration of wanting only pushes your desires away. The key, we discovered, is to shift into the state of knowing, the calm certainty that what you desire is already yours in a vibrational reality, waiting to manifest. But as you attempt to hold this state, you may encounter a formidable, deep-seated obstacle. You may find it impossible to truly feel that abundance is yours if, in the deepest chambers of your heart, you do not feel you are worthy of it. This brings us to the absolute, non-negotiable bedrock of a magnetic life. Before you can build anything lasting, you must secure the foundation. We must speak of radical, unapologetic self-worth. You cannot attract, receive, or sustain a reality that is misaligned with your own self-concept. It is a universal law. Your outer world can never permanently transcend your inner world. If you build a mansion of desires upon a cracked, crumbling foundation of unworthiness, you will unconsciously sabotage its very existence. You will find ways to burn it down. You will miss the crucial phone call. You will pick a fight with the perfect partner. You will mismanage the money when it finally arrives. Life will orchestrate events that perfectly match your deepest beliefs about what you deserve. Therefore, the most important creative act you will ever undertake is the reconstruction of your own sense of value. Let us first be crystal clear about what radical self-worth is not. It is not ego. It is not arrogance. Ego and arrogance are loud, brittle, and comparative. They are a desperate performance. A mask worn to hide a deep-seated fear of inadequacy. Ego says, I am better than you. It needs an audience and constant validation to survive. True self-worth is the opposite. It is quiet. It is internal. It is absolute. It is a calm, unwavering resonance that simply states, I am. Full stop. It is the innate, unshakable knowing of your own intrinsic value as a unique and unrepeatable expression of the cosmos. A value that is not contingent upon your achievements, your bank account, your relationship status, or anyone else's opinion. Arrogance is the noisy, chasing energy of the toxic masculine. True self-worth is the quiet, magnetic radiance of the divine feminine knowing its own divinity. You were not born with feelings of inadequacy. No baby enters this world questioning its right to be fed, clothed, and loved. A baby inherently knows its worth and demands its needs be met without an ounce of shame. The feeling of unworthiness is not a flaw in your character. It is a piece of malicious software that was installed in your subconscious mind without your permission. It is programming you received from a world that, for the most part, had forgotten its own worth. This programming came from well-meaning parents who may have only praised you when you achieved, inadvertently teaching you that your value was based on your performance. It came from teachers who told you to be realistic, from a society that screams you are not thin enough, rich enough, or successful enough. It came through seemingly innocent phrases that became energetic laws in your young mind. Don't be so selfish. Money is the root of all evil. Stop showing off. You have to work hard to deserve anything good. Each of these phrases installed a subconscious ceiling on how much joy, love, and abundance you would allow yourself to receive. Your life today is a printout of this subconscious programming. The universe is constantly taking cues from you on how you expect to be treated, and the most powerful cues come from how you treat yourself. Your relationship with yourself is the master template for every other relationship in your life. If your internal self-talk is a stream of criticism, judgment, and abuse, you are sending out a powerful signal that this is an acceptable way to be treated. And life will graciously provide you with people and circumstances that are critical and abusive. If you consistently put your own needs last, you are broadcasting that your needs are not important. And you will attract experiences that perpetually overlook you. Self-care, therefore, is not a frivolous luxury. It is a profound political and spiritual act. Every time you choose to nourish your body with good food, to give yourself adequate rest, to speak to yourself with kindness, and most importantly, to set and enforce healthy boundaries, you are making a powerful declaration to the universe. I am valuable. I am worthy of care. I matter. Rebuilding your self-worth is an active process of deprogramming and reprogramming. It requires consistent, conscious practice. One of the most potent, albeit initially uncomfortable, practices is mirror work. It involves simply looking yourself in the eyes in a mirror for 1 or 2 minutes a day and saying out loud, I love you. I am worthy of all the good life has to offer. The immense resistance and awkwardness you may feel at first is a direct measure of how deep the old programming runs. Stay with it. Your subconscious learns through repetition, and you are overwriting old, toxic code with new, loving code. Combine this with affirmations designed to counteract your specific limiting beliefs. If you were taught that you had to struggle, an affirmation like, "I am a beloved expression of life, and I allow my good to come to me with ease and joy," can begin to dissolve that old structure. Journaling is another powerful tool for excavation. Ask yourself questions like, what do I secretly believe I have to do to earn love? Or, what is my biggest fear about having a lot of money? Write freely, without judgment, and you will begin to uncover the hidden, unconscious rules that have been running your life. Perhaps the most tangible practice of self-worth is the creation of boundaries. A boundary is not an aggressive wall you build to push people away. It is a clear, compassionate line you draw in the sand that says, "This is me, and that is you. This is what I will and will not accept in my space." Saying no to a request that drains you, without a long, apologetic explanation, is a revolutionary act of self-love. It teaches the world that your time and energy are sacred resources. Each boundary you set is another brick laid in the new, solid foundation of your self-worth. For a moderate, high-energy, and often humorous guide on this exact journey, there is no better companion than the audiobook You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Her work is a shot of pure motivational adrenaline for the soul. Sincero speaks to the part of you that is tired of the excuses and ready to change, but might be skeptical of overly esoteric language. She encourages you to love the parts of yourself you think are weird, to confront the excuses you use to stay in your comfort zone, what she calls your big snooze, and to surrender your desires to what she playfully calls the universe. A nod to the receptive, feminine nature of divine intelligence. Listening to Jen Sincero is like having your coolest, wisest, and funniest friend grab you by the shoulders, look you in the eye, and tell you to stop messing around and start believing in your own magnificence. It's a powerful tool to blast through the old, dusty layers of self-doubt and connect with the vibrant, powerful core of who you truly are. Ultimately, self-worth is not something you build, but something you uncover. It is an archaeological dig. Your work is to gently brush away the layers of dust, dirt, and false programming that have obscured the solid gold treasure that has been you all along. As you commit to this practice, your entire energetic signature begins to shift. You move from the frequency of "I hope I'm good enough" to the calm, resonant frequency of course I am." You stop asking for permission to be happy and start realizing it is your birthright. This unwavering inner knowing, this solid foundation of worthiness, is the essential prerequisite for what comes next. For now that you finally know, deep in your bones, that you are worthy of the grand feast of life, you must learn how to actually sit at the table. You must be willing to be served. You must master the forgotten and most vital art of all, the art of receiving. Having laid the solid gold foundation of your own intrinsic worth, you are now standing on sacred, sovereign ground. From this place, you have declared to the universe that you are ready for your good. The channel is clear. The signal is strong. But now comes the most subtle and perhaps most challenging practice of all. A signal is useless if it is sent to a receiver that is switched off. You must now learn the forgotten and often resisted art of truly receiving. This is where the metaphysical meets the practical. This is the art of opening your hands, your heart, and your life to the tangible evidence of your own worthiness. Consider a simple, everyday scenario. Someone looks you in the eye and offers you a genuine compliment. "That was a brilliant presentation," they say. Or, "You look absolutely radiant today." What is your immediate, conditioned reflex for so many of us? The reaction is a frantic deflection. We minimize, "Oh, it was nothing." Really, we self-deprecate. You must be joking. I was a nervous wreck. Or we engage in a frantic game of hot potato, immediately tossing a compliment back. No. You were the brilliant one. We do everything in our power to avoid the simple, vulnerable act of letting the gift land. We stand before an open door with a gift being offered, and we slam it shut on our own fingers. We have been meticulously trained to be excellent givers, but we are terrified, unskilled amateurs when it comes to receiving, and this profound imbalance in the flow of energy is one of the primary reasons your desires remain just out of reach. This receiver's block is a deeply ingrained pathology, born from a collection of psychological and spiritual myths. The most pervasive of these is the distortion of the phrase, "It is better to give than to receive." This beautiful piece of wisdom, intended to encourage generosity and compassion, has been twisted by our society into a moral weapon that implies receiving is somehow selfish, weak, or less holy than giving. But this is a misunderstanding of a fundamental cosmic law. Giving and receiving are not two separate, opposing actions. They are a single, indivisible, energetic circuit. They are the inhale and the exhale of the universe. One cannot exist without the other. For you to experience the joy of giving, someone else must be willing to be a gracious receiver. Every time you refuse to receive, you are not being virtuous. You are denying another person the blessing of their own generosity. You are breaking the circuit. Beneath this myth lies the fear of indebtedness. We have been programmed with the belief that nothing is truly free, that every gift comes with invisible strings attached. When someone offers us help, a gift, or even a heartfelt compliment, an uncomfortable alarm goes off in our psyche. What do they want from me? What will I owe them now? This instantly transforms a potential moment of grace into a crude transaction, stripping it of its magic and burdening us with a sense of obligation. We also fear judgment. If I accept this help, will they think I'm incompetent? If I let him pay for dinner, will he think I'm using him? This is the voice of the ego, forever concerned with managing external perception, and it will gladly build a fortress around your heart to keep you safe, while simultaneously starving you of the connection and support you crave. And, of course, the ever-present hangover of unworthiness is at play if you do not truly feel, in your bones, that you are deserving of good things. Then when something good is offered, it creates an internal dissonance. It feels wrong, like wearing clothes that are not your size. And so, to resolve this discomfort, you will unconsciously push the gift away, restoring yourself to the familiar, albeit painful, equilibrium of not enough. From an energetic perspective, this refusal to receive is catastrophic. Imagine your desire is a physical gift. To receive it, your hand must be open, soft, and receptive, a perfect expression of feminine energy. But most of us walk through life with a clenched fist. The fist is masculine energy, grasping, holding, controlling, doing. A clenched fist can achieve much, but it cannot receive a thing. Every time you deflect a compliment, you are clenching your energetic fist. Every time you insist on doing everything yourself when help is offered, you are tightening that fist. You are sending a clear, unambiguous signal to the quantum field: I am closed. I am not available for ease. I am not open to blessings. And the universe, which always honors your free will, simply says, as you wish. And the flow of grace that was heading your way is redirected. Life is constantly trying to pour abundance into your cup. But if you refuse to drink the small joys, the daily kindnesses, the gentle compliments, your cup remains full of pride and fear, with no room for anything more to be added. The profound necessity of this art is brilliantly illustrated in the audiobook The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann. The book's premise appears, on the surface, to be entirely about giving. It follows a protagonist, Joe, who is taught that the secret to immense success is to shift his focus from getting to giving. He learns to provide overwhelming value to others, to place their interests first, and to operate from a place of authenticity and influence. Yet, after learning all the laws of giving, he is presented with the final, crowning law, the one that makes the entire system work, the law of receptivity. His mentor tells him, all the giving in the world won't create success, won't bring success, unless you also allow yourself to receive. Joe learns that being a poor receiver is not a virtue. It is a form of arrogance. It is a statement that you don't need anyone or anything. The crucial lesson is this: the exhale is just as important as the inhale. To refuse to receive is to hold your breath until you turn blue. It suffocates your own prosperity. So, how do we practice this forgotten art? How do we retrain our nervous systems to open up? You must start small, creating a new set of conditioned reflexes. Begin with the compliment challenge. For the next 7 days, when anyone offers you a compliment of any kind, you are only allowed one response: a warm, open, and complete thank you. No deflections, no downplaying, no exceptions. Just breathe, let it in, feel it land in your heart, and say, thank you. This simple exercise will feel shockingly difficult, which reveals the depth of your resistance. Next, practice accepting help. The next time a friend offers to buy you a coffee, or a stranger offers to hold a door, or a colleague offers to assist with a project, let your default answer be a gracious, yes, thank you. I would appreciate that. Feel the discomfort, the flicker of, I should do it myself, and choose to receive instead. You are teaching your body that it is safe to be supported. Expand this practice to receiving from the universe itself. Become a hunter of beauty and synchronicity. When you find a perfect parking spot, whisper, thank you. When you see a particularly beautiful sunset, acknowledge the gift. When a song you love comes on the radio at the perfect moment, smile and receive it as a personal message. And finally, you must learn to receive from yourself. Stop denying yourself small pleasures. Buy the good coffee. Take the bubble bath. Invest in the book you've been wanting. This is not materialism. It is the sacred practice of treating yourself like someone who is worthy of receiving good things. Receiving is not passive. It is not weak. It is a courageous, powerful, and deeply feminine act of radical openness. It is the conscious choice to lower your shields and declare yourself available for miracles. It transforms your foundation of self-worth from a simple statement into a vibrant, living welcome mat placed at the doorway of your life. As you become a more gracious and practiced receiver, an amazing thing will happen. The universe will notice that the channel is open, and it will begin to communicate with you more frequently and with greater clarity. It will send you nudges, signs, and feelings to guide you to continue on this magnetic path and to truly collaborate with the cosmos. You must now learn to decipher this beautiful, intimate, and silent language. You must learn to listen with your whole being to the unerring guidance of your own divine compass, your intuition. Having opened yourself to the art of receiving, you've become a welcome shore for the tides of abundance. You have signaled to the universe that you are ready, and now, the universe begins to speak to you more directly. It speaks not in human words, but in the silent, profound language of energy, feeling, and synchronicity. To navigate this new relationship with the cosmos, You must learn to use the most sophisticated piece of technology you will ever own: your intuition. It is your divine compass, your direct line to infinite intelligence, a natural human faculty that has been ridiculed, suppressed, and ignored for so long that most of us have forgotten it even exists. Your journey into magnetism is a journey home to this inner knowing. First, we must learn to distinguish between the two primary voices that speak within us: the voice of intuition and the voice of fear. This is the most crucial discernment you will ever learn. For one voice leads to expansion and freedom, while the other leads to contraction and bondage. The voice of fear, which is the voice of the ego, is loud. It is frantic, demanding, and repetitive. It often comes with a detailed, logical-sounding argument, a list of worst-case scenarios, and a heavy, anxious feeling in your body. It feels like a constriction, a knot in your stomach, or a tightness in your chest. The voice of fear is almost always rooted in the past traumas, past failures, past hurts, and it projects those experiences onto your future to keep you safe within the tiny, familiar prison of what you already know. It shouts, "Don't take that risk. Remember what happened last time," or "You're not good enough for that. They'll all find out you're a fraud." It is the voice of limitation. The voice of intuition, by contrast, is a whisper. It is the quiet, calm, and neutral voice of your soul, your higher self. It rarely shouts. It often comes as a simple, clear nudge, a gentle knowing, or a sudden insight that feels peaceful and expansive. It does not need to justify itself with a long, logical argument. It simply is. The feeling associated with intuition is one of openness, of lightness, a quiet sense of rightness. It doesn't always make logical sense. It might be a sudden urge to turn down a different street, to call a friend you haven't spoken to in years, or to say no to an opportunity that looks perfect on paper. The voice of intuition is not concerned with the past or the future. It is rooted in the timeless wisdom of the present moment. It is the voice of possibility. Learning to hear it requires that you deliberately turn down the volume on the frantic shouts of fear. Intuition is the bridge between your conscious, three-dimensional mind and the infinite, multi-dimensional wisdom of the universe. Your logical brain is a powerful but limited tool. It can only process data it has already collected from your past experiences. It is, by its very nature, backward-looking. Intuition, however, is not bound by linear time or space. It has access to the entire quantum field, the vast, interconnected tapestry of all that is, was, and ever will be. It can perceive the energetic currents, the hidden connections, and the path of least resistance that your logical mind could never see. When you get an intuitive hit, you are receiving a data packet from a higher intelligence, a loving guidance system that sees the entire map of your journey, not just the few feet of road visible in front of you. This is why trusting your intuition often leads to outcomes that seem magical or miraculous. You are simply following a better map, like any skill. Your ability to perceive and interpret intuition grows stronger with practice. You must create the conditions for the whisper to be heard. The first and most vital step is to cultivate silence. You cannot hear a whisper in the middle of a screaming rock concert. And the modern world is a screaming rock concert of distraction. This means consciously choosing to turn down the external noise, the endless news cycles, the frantic scroll of social media, the constant chatter. It also means turning down the internal noise of your own racing mind. This is the true purpose of meditation. It is not about stopping your thoughts, but about creating a space between them. In that sacred gap, the voice of intuition can finally be heard. From this space of stillness, you can begin to actively engage your compass before you go to sleep at night. Or as you sit in meditation, you can ask a clear question. What is my next step? Or show me the way forward on this issue. And then, you let it go. You do not strain to find the answer. You simply create an open, receptive space and trust that the answer will come. It may not arrive as a full sentence, but as a feeling, an image, a dream, a word, or a sudden desire to do something. Learn to pay attention to your body, for it is a magnificent barometer of truth. A decision that is right for you will often create a feeling of physical expansion, a warmth or lightness in your chest. A decision that is wrong for you will often feel like a contraction, a knot in your gut. Your body knows the truth long before your mind does. Journaling is another powerful technique. Try what is known as stream of consciousness writing for 10 minutes. Simply write whatever comes into your head without stopping, censoring, or correcting. This practice allows your intuitive mind to bypass your logical editor and can bring forth surprising insights and guidance. A beautiful and adventurous exploration of this very concept is found within the audiobook of The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. This book, framed as a thrilling adventure story, is actually a profound spiritual allegory about learning to live an intuitively guided life. The protagonist's journey through Peru is a masterclass in following the breadcrumbs of synchronicity. He learns to perceive the energy in people and nature, and his entire quest is propelled forward not by logical plans, but by following one mysterious coincidence, one gut feeling, one intuitive hit after another. Listening to this story can awaken your own inner adventurer, helping you to see your own life not as a series of random events, but as a magical, synchronistic quest where the universe is constantly leaving you clues. It reframes intuition from a vague concept into a practical tool for navigating a life filled with meaning and wonder. Of course, acting on your intuition requires courage. It requires a leap of faith. There will be times when your intuitive compass points you in a direction that your logical mind finds terrifying or nonsensical. It might tell you to leave the secure job, to end the comfortable relationship, or to invest in a project that no one else believes in. This is the ultimate test of trust. Every time you honor that quiet inner voice, every time you take that leap of faith and discover that it leads you to a better place, you strengthen the muscle of your intuition. Your trust in your divine compass grows, and the voice becomes clearer and more confident. You begin to co-create with the universe in a beautiful, effortless dance. You stop trying to force your way through life, and instead allow yourself to be guided along the graceful, flowing currents of its wisdom. You are now equipped with a foundation of worthiness, an open heart for receiving, and a divine compass to point the way. You have the map. But a map, no matter how perfect, is useless without a vehicle. And that vehicle needs fuel. The force that propels you along the path your intuition illuminates is the most creative and powerful substance in the universe. It is the very fuel of manifestation. We must now explore the incredible, world-building power of your emotions. Having learned to tune into the divine compass of your intuition, you now have a map to your most expansive reality. Your inner guidance system is online, pointing you toward the path of least resistance and greatest joy. But a map, no matter how precise, is merely a guide. It does not provide the energy to make the journey, the force that actually propels you along the pathways your intuition reveals. The very fuel that turns vibrational blueprints into physical reality is the most misunderstood and potent creative medium in the universe, your emotion. We have been taught to view our emotions as reactions, as secondary consequences of the events in our lives. We believe something good happens, so we feel happy. something bad happens. So we feel sad. We see our feelings as the caboose at the end of the train of reality. But what if this is entirely backward? What if your emotions are not the effect, but the cause? What if they are the engine, the creative force that is actually pulling the train, determining the tracks it will run on and the destination it will reach? This is the secret of conscious creation. Your feelings are not simply responses, they are directives. They are the energetic language you use to command the substance of the universe, to organize itself into the reality you experience. Everything in existence is energy, vibrating at a specific frequency. Your thoughts are a fine, subtle form of energy, but your emotions are far more powerful. Emotion is, as the word suggests, energy in motion. It is a concentrated, amplified vibration that radiates from your being and powerfully influences the quantum field around you. The law of attraction does not respond primarily to your fleeting thoughts or your pretty vision boards. It responds to your dominant emotional state, your resonant frequency, your state of being. Thinking the word wealth 1,000 times while feeling the gut-wrenching anxiety of poverty is an act of energetic self-sabotage. The universe doesn't hear the word. It feels the anxiety and graciously delivers more circumstances to feel anxious about. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the creative command. To become a master of this creative process, it is helpful to visualize your emotions as existing on a vertical scale or a ladder. At the very bottom are the lowest, slowest, most dense of frequencies: shame, fear, despair, grief, and powerlessness. As you move up the ladder, the frequency rises through anger, blame, worry, and frustration. Continuing upward, you reach the middle rungs of boredom, contentment, and hopefulness. And at the very top of the ladder, you find the highest, fastest, and most luminous frequencies of all: optimism, joy, passion, love, and the supreme frequencies of gratitude and appreciation. Your work is not to pretend you are at the top of the ladder when you wake up feeling at the bottom. The attempt to jump from despair to joy is often impossible and inauthentic, a spiritual bypass that only creates more resistance. The true art lies in gently, lovingly, reaching for the next best feeling available to you. If you are in despair, reaching for anger is an energetic step up. Anger, at least, has life force and passion. It is a more powerful state than powerlessness. From anger, you can reach for frustration. From frustration, perhaps you can find a thought that gives you a glimmer of hope. Your only task in any given moment is to find a way to take one small step up that emotional ladder. This is why the suppression of so-called negative emotions is so detrimental. An emotion that is ignored does not cease to exist. It becomes trapped energy, adense, low-frequency pocket in your being that continues to broadcast its signal of pain, silently attracting more experiences to match it. The healthy path is to allow yourself to feel without judgment. See the anger or sadness as a cloud passing through the vast, open sky of your awareness. Acknowledge it. Thank it for the information it provides. For anger often shows you where a boundary has been violated, and sadness shows you what you truly value, and then allow it to move on. Without setting up camp and making it your identity, you are the sky, not the cloud. The neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza, in his groundbreaking audiobook, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, provides a powerful scientific framework for understanding this process. He explains how our repetitive thoughts and feelings create our personality, which in turn creates our personal reality. Over time, we can become literally addicted to the chemical rush of our familiar emotions, the cortisol of stress, the adrenaline of anger, the dopamine of victimhood, our bodies, on a cellular level, begin to demand these emotional states because they have become the norm. This creates a cycle where our feelings from the past dictate our choices in the present, thus recreating the same future over and over again. We are living in the past. Emotionally, Dispenza's revolutionary work teaches that the way to break this habit is to learn how to generate elevated emotions like joy, gratitude, and abundance on command. Independent of your external environment, it's about teaching your body, chemically, what your new future will feel like. By repeatedly creating the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you begin to build new neural pathways, change your genetic expression, and energetically draw the new experience to you. It is the science that validates the mystics. You must become it before you can see it. So how do you actively cultivate these elevated emotions and climb the ladder? You must build a personal toolbox for vibrational alchemy. One of the most powerful tools is a rampage of appreciation. This is not just mentally listing 3 things you're grateful for. It is the practice of actively conjuring and amplifying the feeling of gratitude. Start with something simple, the cup of coffee in your hand. Feel the warmth, smell the aroma, and flood your being with genuine appreciation for it. Then let that feeling expand to the clean water you drink, the roof over your head, a beloved pet, a cherished memory. The goal is to sustain and magnify the feeling of gratitude for several minutes, until it becomes your dominant state. Visualization, 2, is useless without emotion. Don't just see the beach house, feel the warm sun on your skin. Hear the sound of the waves. Feel the profound peace and accomplishment in your heart. The emotional signature is what magnetizes the experience. Create musical playlists specifically designed to shift your state. Have a playlist for joy, for confidence, for peace. Use music as a direct, powerful tool to change your frequency. And never underestimate the healing power of nature. Immersing yourself in a forest or by the ocean is a vibrational tune-up, as the natural world holds a coherent, high-frequency energy that can help recalibrate your own. You are a divine alchemist. Your emotional body is your laboratory. You have the power to take the leaden weight of fear and, through conscious practice, transmute it into the radiant gold of joy. Your intuition has given you the map, a clear direction toward your highest good. Your emotions are now revealed to be the sacred fuel for that journey. The quality of your fuel determines the speed and smoothness of your ride. Now that you understand the map and the fuel, you are ready to learn the ultimate technique of the master creator. You are ready to move beyond simply generating the feeling, and to enter the profound art of becoming one with your destination before you have even taken the first step. You are ready for the magic of embodiment, of living in the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. You have now arrived at the pinnacle of the creative arts, the graduate level course in conscious creation. You have your inner compass, your intuition pointing the way. You have your emotional body, your fuel, ready to power the journey. Now, you will learn how to collapse time itself, how to merge with your destination so completely that its arrival becomes not a possibility, but an inevitability. This is the sacred practice of embodiment. It is the wisdom taught by one of the 20th century's most profound and practical mystics, Neville Goddard, and his message, distilled to its powerful essence, is this: the feeling is the secret. This is not about positive thinking. It is not about hoping or wishing or even asking. The philosophy of embodiment is built upon a radical premise: creation is already finished. Everything you could ever possibly desire already exists as a state of consciousness within the infinite mind of God, or the quantum field. Your desire is not something you need to build from scratch. It is a reality you must learn to occupy. Manifestation, therefore, is not the act of getting something. It is the act of becoming the person who already has it. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. The purpose of this practice is to change who you are at the deepest level of your being. Neville taught that the gateway to changing your state of being is your own wonderful human imagination. But he drew a critical distinction between idle daydreaming and a disciplined, creative imaginal act. Daydreaming, for most, is an exercise in lack. It is wistfully looking at a reality you feel separate from. Wouldn't it be nice if? Is its mantra, and it reinforces the feeling of absence. A true imaginal act, however, is an act of embodiment. You are not an observer watching a movie of your desire. You are the lead actor. Inside the scene, after the desire has been fulfilled, you do not imagine yourself receiving the job offer. You imagine yourself at your new desk a week later, feeling the satisfaction of the work. You do not imagine the wedding ceremony. You imagine feeling the cool, solid weight of the wedding ring on your finger a month after the honeymoon. A familiar and cherished sensation. This subtle shift in perspective is everything. It changes the feeling from one of longing to one of possession. You are imagining from the end, treating your future desire as a present fact. You are creating a memory of the future. The most potent time to perform this creative act is in the state Neville called the state akin to sleep, or S-A-T-S. This is the drowsy, meditative window of time just before you drift off into slumber. In this state, your conscious, illogical mind, the gatekeeper that is full of doubt and skepticism, begins to power down. This gives you direct, unimpeded access to the vast, powerful, and unquestioning realm of your subconscious mind. It is the subconscious mind that directs the functions of your body and orchestrates the events of your life. And it accepts as true whatever is impressed upon it with feeling. The S-A-T-S method is profoundly simple. First, as you lie in your bed, ready for sleep, you get clear on your desire. Then, you construct a single, short, simple scene that would take place after your desire has been realized. The key is that the scene must imply the wish is fulfilled. If you desire healing, you might imagine yourself doing something you couldn't do before, like running on a beach or playing with your children, full of vigor. If you desire wealth, you might imagine a trusted friend congratulating you on your good fortune. The scene should be brief, a snapshot of no more than a few seconds. Once you have your scene, you close your eyes and begin to loop it, over and over, like a short cinematic GIF in your mind. But the visuals are secondary. The true work is to conjure the feeling. How would you truly feel if this scene were your physical reality? Relief, joy, gratitude, awe, security. You must capture that specific emotional tone. Your goal is to marinate in this feeling, to become so absorbed in the reality of your imaginal scene that it feels more real than the bed you are lying in. You continue looping the scene and feeling the feeling until you drift off to sleep. In doing so, you have successfully impressed or impregnated your subconscious mind with this new state of being. You have planted the seed in the fertile soil of your mind. And if you do not disturb it with doubt, it must grow. Neville's own life was a testament to this principle. One of his most famous stories took place during World War II, when he was drafted into the U.S. Army. He desperately wanted to be discharged to continue his work as a spiritual teacher in New York City. His commanding officer told him it was impossible. All requests were being denied. Following the official channels, he was trapped. So, he turned to the higher law. Every night, in his army barracks in Louisiana, He did not imagine pleading his case or filling out paperwork. He performed an imaginal act. He lay on his cot and, in his imagination, he assumed he was already a civilian, sleeping in his own bed in his familiar New York City apartment. He felt the specific mattress. He saw the familiar furniture. He felt the profound relief and normalcy of being home. Fell asleep, night after night, in the state of being an honorably discharged civilian. Then, one day, against all logic and precedent, his commanding officer called him in, disapproved his written application, and then, inexplicably, signed his discharge papers anyway. Neville had successfully occupied the state of his wish fulfilled, and his external world had no choice but to conform to his assumption. The ultimate challenge, and the final step of embodiment, is to maintain this assumption during your waking hours. How do you walk in the feeling of being wealthy when your bank account says otherwise? How do you feel loved and cherished when you are currently alone? This is what Neville called living in the end. It is not about being delusional or ignoring your 3D reality. It is about practicing a higher loyalty. You are loyal to the unseen reality of your fulfilled desire, not the temporary, shadow world of your current circumstances. It is a quiet, inner secret that you carry. When doubt or contradictory evidence appears, you do not fight it. You simply observe it and calmly return to your assumption. You say to yourself, that may be a fact for now, but the truth is, my desire is done. You walk, talk, and act as if you are the person you desire to be. This changes everything. You make decisions from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You interact with people from a place of wholeness, not neediness. This is the alchemy of embodiment. It is the most direct path to transformation because it changes the cause of your life, which is your own state of consciousness. You stop begging the mirror of reality to change, and you become the new person for the mirror to reflect. When you fundamentally shift who you are on this deep, imaginal, feeling level, the entire universe rearranges itself around your new signature. This profound internal shift will inevitably ripple outward, touching every aspect of your life. But nowhere will its effects be more immediate, more powerful, and more magical than in the way you navigate the intricate dance of human connection and your relationships. Having learned to embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you have become a powerful creator, capable of impressing your desires upon the subconscious mind and drawing them into your reality. Nowhere is this inner work more potent and more transformative than in the realm of human connection. We will now apply these principles of magnetism to one of the deepest longings of the human heart, the desire for profound, authentic love. It is time to unlearn every piece of conventional dating advice you have ever been given, and to step into the art of attracting a magnetic relationship. The first and most radical step is to dismantle the greatest myth ever told about love, the myth of the other half. You have been taught that you are an incomplete being, searching the world for your missing piece, a soulmate who will finally make you whole. This is one of the most disempowering narratives in existence. It sends you on a frantic chase, a desperate hunt for a person you believe holds the key to your happiness. It positions you as a beggar, not a sovereign creator. And as we have established, the energy of neediness, the vibration of lack, can only repel the very thing you seek. A magnetic relationship is not a union of two halves. It is a glorious collision of two whole, radiant, self-sufficient beings who choose to share the abundance of their joy with each other. Therefore, your work is not to find the one. Your work is to become the one. This begins with a sacred and ceremonial act. You must officially end the search. Take yourself off the market. Delete the dating apps from your phone. Not with a sense of defeat, but with a sense of profound purpose. You are entering a period of divine self-courtship. You are now dating yourself. You are taking the immense amount of energy you were spending on swiping, analyzing text messages, and going on disappointing dates. And you are reinvesting it all back into the most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. You are finally choosing to fall in love with the person you are. Right here. Right now. Now, take out a piece of paper and perform this powerful exercise. Write down every quality you desire in an ideal partner. Do you want someone who is confident, financially stable, adventurous, kind, emotionally intelligent, and has a great sense of humor? Write it all down. Now, look at your list. This is not a shopping list for you to take out into the world. This list is a sacred mirror. It is the universe showing you, with perfect clarity, the curriculum for your own becoming. You want a confident partner. Your assignment is to cultivate unshakable confidence within yourself. You want someone who is financially abundant. Your assignment is to heal your own relationship with money and create your own sense of security. You want someone adventurous. Your assignment is to start taking yourself on adventures. You attract who you are, not who you want. To call in a king, you must first fully embody your own inner queen. Your list is your roadmap to becoming the person you wish to attract. As you embark on this journey of self-cultivation, you begin to shift your energetic polarity. As we discussed, a magnetic connection often involves a dynamic interplay of healthy masculine and feminine energies. When you are in the frantic, chasing, controlling energy of the hunt for love, you are operating from a wounded, anxious masculine polarity. This will either repel a healthy, centered masculine partner who is not looking for a competitor, or it will attract a partner who is in a wounded, passive feminine state, leading to a codependent and draining relationship dynamic. The secret to attracting a healthy, devoted, and decisive masculine energy is to cultivate your own radiant feminine energy. This has nothing to do with being weak or submissive. Radiant feminine energy is the epitome of power. It is the energy of being open and receptive. It is warmth. It is playfulness. It is an unapologetic connection to your sensuality and your body. It is the ability to graciously receive a compliment, a gift, or an act of service without feeling indebted or uncomfortable. It is a state of being so full of your own joy and life force that you become an oasis in a desert, an incredibly inviting and nourishing space for a healthy partner to enter. A man of quality is not looking for a project to fix. He is looking for a paradise to enjoy and a queen to cherish and protect. Your job is to build that paradise within yourself first. A crucial part of building this inner paradise is the art of setting loving boundaries, which are the ultimate expression of self-worth. Boundaries are not walls you build to keep love out. They are clear, compassionate instructions that teach people how to love you successfully. They are the beautiful fences you place around your sacred garden. When you have weak or non-existent boundaries, you are energetically confusing. You send mixed signals. You tolerate poor behavior, and you become resentful. A person with clear boundaries, on the other hand, is a beacon of self-respect. They are able to say, "This feels wonderful to me," and "This is not acceptable to me." With equal grace and clarity, a high-value partner is not afraid of your boundaries. They are deeply attracted to them. Your boundaries signal that you value yourself, which makes you infinitely more valuable and safe to connect with. For a masterclass in this profound inner work, the audiobook Calling in the One by Catherine Woodward Thomas is an unparalleled guide. This is not a book of dating strategies. It is a deep, therapeutic, 7-week journey into excavating and releasing the hidden inner barriers to love. Thomas guides you to identify your love-limiting beliefs, to heal the lingering wounds from past relationships, and to let go of the patterns of self-sabotage that have kept love at bay. It is a program designed to help you become a true vibrational match for the love you desire. It is the quintessential example of doing the inner work that makes the outer search completely unnecessary. Finally, you must apply the principle of embodiment you learned from Neville Goddard. Your practice is to generate the feeling of being deeply loved and cherished. Before the person arrives, how would you carry yourself if you knew you were the most adored and precious person in the world? You would likely walk with more confidence. You would speak with more ease. You would be more relaxed, more open, more playful. You would not be desperately seeking validation because you would be generating that feeling from within. Practice this state of being. When you wake up, spend 5 minutes feeling the imagined warmth of a loving arm around you. As you go through your day, carry yourself with the quiet, secret smile of someone who is deeply loved. You are not pretending. You are aligning your frequency with the reality you are calling in. You are becoming the person who is a magnet for a healthy, adoring partner. When you make this profound shift from searching for a person to curating an energy, the game changes entirely. You are no longer chasing butterflies. You are tending to your own garden so exquisitely that the butterflies have no choice but to come to you. This radiant, whole, and self-loving energy that you cultivate is a universal key. The very same frequency that makes you a magnet for a wonderful partner is the exact same frequency that opens the floodgates to other forms of good, including the often charged and misunderstood energy of financial abundance and wealth. Having aligned your being with the frequency of love by becoming whole within yourself, you have discovered a universal key. That radiant, self-loving, and receptive energy you cultivated does not operate in isolation. It is a master frequency that attunes you to abundance in all its forms. We now turn this key to unlock one of the most charged, misunderstood, and desired energies in our world. The energy of wealth. It is time to heal your relationship with money, to stop chasing it like a predator, and to learn how to receive it as a welcome and cherished friend. Let us begin by neutralizing the energy of money itself. For many on a spiritual path, money can feel tainted, a necessary evil, or something inherently separate from a life of purpose. This is a limiting belief that will keep you in a state of perpetual struggle. Money is not good or bad. Money is simply energy. It is a current. It is a neutral, man-made tool for the exchange of value. Much like electricity. Electricity can be used to power an incubator that saves a life, or it can be used in an electric chair. The electricity itself is neutral. The intention behind its use gives it its charge. So it is with money. It is a magnificent amplifier. It will simply magnify the consciousness of the person who wields it. Your task is not to renounce it, but to become the kind of conscious, heart-centered person who can wield it for good. To do this, you must stop treating money like a fugitive. You have to hunt down and start treating it like an honored guest you wish to attract. Think about it. If you wanted a specific person to visit your home, would you spend your days worrying that they won't show up? Would you constantly complain about their absence? Or would you prepare a beautiful, welcoming space for them? Would you think of them with fondness and anticipation? You must cultivate a welcoming environment for wealth in your life. This begins by ending the chase. Chasing money, like chasing love, is a declaration of lack. It is a frantic, anxious pursuit that comes from the fear of not enough. This fear constricts your energy field, creating an energetic chokehold that literally repels the flow of abundance. It forces you to make decisions from a place of scarcity, to take the job you hate for the security it offers, to compromise your values for a paycheck. It places you in a position of servitude to money. The magnetic path is to shift your focus entirely from getting money to giving value. You must stop asking, "How can I make more money?" and begin asking, from the depths of your soul, "How can I be of greater service? What are my unique gifts? And how can I share them with the world in a way that brings me joy?" When you align your life with the joyful expression of your authentic talents, you become a fountain of value. Money then becomes the natural, effortless, and inevitable consequence. It is the universe's way of saying thank you for the value you have provided. It flows to you, not because you hunted it, but because you created a powerful vacuum of service that it must rush in to fill. In this model, money becomes your servant, not your master. One of the most foundational texts on wealth consciousness, Napoleon Hill's classic audiobook, Think and Grow Rich, has often been misinterpreted as a manual for this kind of aggressive, masculine casing. But when viewed through an energetic lens, it reveals itself to be a profound guide to manifestation. The cornerstone of Hill's philosophy is what he calls a burning desire. A modern listener might mistake this for the needy, desperate wanting that we have already debunked. But that is not what Hill meant. A true burning desire is not a longing. It is an all-consuming, white-hot, focused assumption. It is the embodiment principle we have already explored, applied with relentless consistency to the goal of wealth. It is the state of knowing your success so completely that it becomes your single-minded obsession, not with the desperation of a starving man, but with the focused certainty of a master architect completing a blueprint. Hill emphasizes the necessity of faith, imagination, and autosuggestion, all tools designed to change your inner vibrational state, to impress your subconscious mind with the reality of riches before they have materialized. He was teaching the art of becoming a vibrational match for wealth. So how do you practice this? How do you begin to feel wealthy? To become a welcoming home for abundance. Even if your current reality doesn't reflect it, you begin with small, consistent acts of energetic alignment. First, you must celebrate every single inflow of money as a major victory. It does not matter if you find a dime on the sidewalk, receive a $5 rebate, or land $1 million contract. You must treat every arrival of money with genuine excitement and gratitude. Hold the coin or the check in your hand and say, "Thank you. I am a magnet for money. I love receiving it, and I welcome more." This practice tells the universe that you are an enthusiastic and gracious receiver. Next, you must treat the money you already have with profound respect. Stop stuffing crumpled bills into your pockets or letting your purse become a chaotic mess. Organize your wallet. Keep your bills crisp and ordered. Know where your money is going. This is not about obsessive accounting. It is about sending a clear signal of respect. You are treating money like a valued friend, not an afterthought. You must also strategically use money to generate the feeling of abundance. This does not mean being reckless. It means engaging in what is known as the small luxuries principle. It means consciously choosing to spend a little extra to cultivate a feeling of richness. It is buying the organic, delicious strawberries instead of the bland, cheaper ones. It is buying one bar of exquisitely scented, handcrafted soap instead of a plastic bottle of generic wash. It is having your coffee in a beautiful ceramic mug instead of a paper cup. These small acts, while costing very little, send a powerful message to your subconscious. I am a person who enjoys quality. I am a person who lives an abundant, sensuous life. The feeling you generate from these small acts is worth 1,000 times the tiny extra cost. And finally, you must learn to recognize the non-monetary wealth that already surrounds you. Feel the richness of a deep, cleansing breath. Appreciate the abundance of clean water that flows from your tap. Acknowledge the incredible wealth of knowledge available at your fingertips through the internet. Feel the profound value of a loving friendship or a healthy body by consciously tuning into the abundance that is already present. You shift your entire being into the frequency of richness. You become a person who is rich, regardless of the number in your bank account. And from that state of being, all other forms of wealth are magnetically drawn to you. You are making the pivotal shift from being a fearful chaser of money to becoming a joyful creator of value and a gracious receiver of abundance. You are learning that wealth is not a finite resource to be fought over, but an infinite current to be aligned with. This alignment in your relationships and your finances, however, requires a level of faith that transcends logic. It asks you to stop micromanaging the universe, to stop trying to force outcomes, and to release your white-knuckled grip on the steering wheel, to truly allow the flow of all good things into your life. You must now learn the most advanced and paradoxical spiritual discipline of all. You must discover the supreme power that is only found in the act of complete and total surrender. You have now stepped into your full power as a conscious creator. You have learned to build your foundation of worthiness, to open your heart to receiving, to listen to your intuitive compass, and to fuel your journey with the creative fire of your emotions. You have even learned the master technique of embodiment, of assuming the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. There is now only one final, sacred act required of you to complete the circuit and allow miracles to flow into your life with grace and ease. It is the most challenging act for the modern mind, yet it is the one that brings the most profound peace and the most astonishing results. You must learn the divine art of surrender in a world that worships control, that rewards 5-year plans and strategic outlines. Surrender is often mistaken for weakness, for giving up, for failure. This is a fundamental misunderstanding. True spiritual surrender is not an act of passivity. It is an act of supreme wisdom and unshakable faith. It is the moment the brilliant architect hands the finished blueprint to the master builder. Trusting completely in their ability to construct the edifice, it is the ultimate expression of power, for it demonstrates your trust in the infinite intelligence of the universe itself. To make this practical, let us define what has been called the divine division of labor. In the creative partnership between you and the universe, you each have a distinct and crucial role. Your job is the what. Your role is to be the specifier, the visionary. It is your sacred duty to get clear on what you truly desire, to use your magnificent imagination to craft a scene implying its fulfillment, and to generate the joyful, grateful feeling of that reality. That is your part of the bargain, and it is a powerful and essential one. Once you have done this, once you have placed your order with the cosmos, your work is done. The how and the when are not your department. Those details belong entirely to the universe. The universe, with its vantage point of all time and space, can see the entire cosmic chessboard. It knows the intricate pathways, the surprising shortcuts, and the beautiful synchronicities that your limited, logical mind could never conceive of. It is the master manager, the divine orchestrator, whose sole purpose is to arrange the perfect bridge of incidents to lead you to your fulfilled desire in the most harmonious and magical way possible. When you insist on controlling the how, you are, in essence, telling the infinite intelligence of the cosmos that you know better. You are slamming the door on a million miraculous possibilities and limiting the outcome to the 1 or 2 clumsy pathways your ego can imagine. It is the arrogance of a single light bulb trying to outshine the sun. Obsessing over the how is also the primary source of resistance. It is the birthplace of worry, doubt, and fear. When you are trying to figure it all out, you are operating from the anxious, analytical mind, broadcasting a low-frequency signal of distrust that jams the clear signal of your desire. It is like flooring the accelerator in your car while simultaneously pulling the emergency brake. You create an immense amount of friction, noise, and smoke, all while staying in exactly the same place. The perfect metaphor for surrender is the planting of a seed. Your desire is the seed performing your imaginal act. Your practice is the act of planting that seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Nurturing it with feelings of gratitude and joy throughout your day is the equivalent of providing water and sunlight. Now, what does a wise gardener do next? They walk away. They trust the process. They know that the seed has its own intelligence, and that the soil and the sun have theirs. They do not dig up the seed every morning to see if roots have sprouted. That act of impatient distrust would violate the process and kill the seed. Surrender is this wise trust. It is the knowing that unseen forces are at work, that germination is happening in the dark, beneath the surface, in a way that is perfect and requires none of your anxious meddling. It is vital here to distinguish between surrender and apathy. They may look similar on the surface, but energetically, they are polar opposites. Apathy, or giving up, comes from a place of powerlessness and despair. It feels heavy, negative, and resigned. Its underlying frequency is, "It's never going to happen for me anyway, so why should I even try?" It is an admission of defeat. True surrender, however, comes from a place of supreme power and trust. It feels light, peaceful, and profoundly liberating. Its frequency is, "I know with absolute certainty that it is done. Therefore, I am free from the burden of worrying about the details. I can relax and enjoy my life, knowing that my good is on its way." Apathy is dropping the ball because you think the game is lost. Surrender is passing the ball to the star player on your team, knowing they are about to score the winning goal. So how do you practice this in your daily life? You practice through a gentle but persistent act of catch and release. The moment you catch your mind spiraling into worry, scheming about the how, or feeling anxious about the when, you consciously stop. You can say to yourself, either out loud or internally, "This is not my job." I release the need to understand how this will happen. I surrender this to the divine intelligence of the universe, which knows the perfect and most joyful path. You can visualize placing your desire in a beautiful box, tying it with a ribbon of trust, and handing it over to a pair of loving, celestial hands. Then, you deliberately redirect your focus back to your only job, cultivating the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel the relief of it being done. Feel the joy. Feel the gratitude. Your feeling state is your only work. When you master the art of surrender, your life transforms from a stressful struggle into a magical adventure. You become a co-creator with the cosmos, a dancer who has learned to follow the lead of a divine partner. You stop trying to force open doors and instead find that the right doors simply glide open before you. You are filled with a sense of peace and excitement, knowing that you have a powerful ally working behind the scenes on your behalf. But this act of release, this profound letting go, often brings up our deepest human challenge, our impatience. What do you do when you have surrendered? When you have trusted completely, but your desire has not yet appeared in your physical world? How do you remain faithful when time keeps passing? This requires a final, deeper layer of trust. It requires that you come to understand and make peace with the perfect, loving wisdom of divine timing. Having mastered the profound art of surrender, you have handed the blueprint of your desire and the timeline of its construction over to the divine architect. You have released your white-knuckled grip on the how and the when. And in that release, you have found a liberating peace. But it is in the quiet space that follows this surrender that the final and most delicate test of faith arises. It is the test of time. You have planted your seed in the garden of the cosmos, and now you must wait for it to bloom. This waiting period, this sacred gestation, is where true magnetism is either solidified or squandered. It is here that you must learn to trust in the perfect, loving wisdom of divine timing. The human ego is a creature of immense impatience. It wants what it wants, and it wants it now. When our desires do not manifest on our preferred schedule, the ego immediately jumps to conclusions of failure, denial, or unworthiness. It's not working. It screams, "I knew this was too good to be true. The universe has forgotten me." This reaction is the spiritual equivalent of digging up the seed every 5 minutes to see if it's growing. It is a violent act of distrust, and it is poison to the creative process. Your impatience is a low-frequency broadcast of doubt. It is a frantic signal to the universe that you do not truly believe your good is on its way. And this vibration of distrust can create a powerful energetic static, delaying the very manifestation you are so anxious to receive. You must internalize this fundamental truth. A delay is not a denial. The universe never says no to the core desire of your heart. It may, however, say, "Not yet, my beloved child, for I am preparing something even better for you." Or it may say, "Not yet, for you are not quite ready to receive it in a way that will bless you." What appears to your limited human perspective as a frustrating delay is, from the universe's higher vantage point, an act of profound love and perfect orchestration. You are seeing a single thread. The universe sees the entire magnificent tapestry. There are generally 3 reasons for a divine delay. The first is that the universe is lovingly waiting for you to be ready. Perhaps you have asked for a great love, but you still carry unhealed wounds from a past relationship. The universe, in its wisdom, gives you the sacred time to heal and become truly whole, so that you can attract another whole person and not repeat painful patterns. Perhaps you have asked for immense wealth, but you still harbor deep-seated fears about money or feelings of unworthiness. The universe patiently allows you the space to build your foundation of self-worth, so that the influx of wealth will be a joyous blessing, not a terrifying burden that you quickly sabotage. This waiting period is not a punishment. It is your divine classroom. The second reason is that the universe is busy preparing the circumstances. Your desire does not exist in a vacuum. It involves the alignment of other people, places, and opportunities. The perfect business partner for you may currently be finishing up another project. The dream home you desire may still be occupied, waiting for its current owners to be lovingly guided to their next destination. The universe is a master conductor, ensuring every instrument in the orchestra is tuned and ready before the grand symphony of your manifestation begins. Your impatience is like a single violinist demanding the symphony start before the cellos have even arrived. And the third, most magical reason for a delay is that the universe has something far greater in store for you than what you initially asked for. Often, we ask from a limited understanding of what is possible. We pray for a small stream, not knowing the universe is preparing to give us a mighty ocean. We may be desperately trying to pry open a small, creaky door, unaware that just around the corner, the universe is constructing a magnificent, gilded gate on our behalf. In these instances, the delay is a profound act of grace, saving us from our own limited ambitions. Looking back on your life, you will almost certainly find examples of this. The job you were devastated not to get, which led to a far better opportunity months later. The relationship that ended painfully, which cleared the way for the true love of your life. There is an ancient Taoist story that perfectly illustrates this wisdom. An old farmer had a prized stallion. One day, The horse ran away. His neighbors came to console him, saying, "What terrible luck." The farmer simply replied, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" A week later, the horse returned, leading a herd of wild horses with him. The neighbors rejoiced. "What wonderful luck," the farmer replied. "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" The next day, the farmer's son was trying to tame one of the wild horses when he was thrown off and broke his leg. The neighbors again offered their condolences. "What awful luck," the farmer calmly said. "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" A few weeks later, the army came to the village, conscripting all able-bodied young men for a brutal war. The farmer's son, with his broken leg, was the only one spared. The story reveals a profound truth. We never have the full picture. What appears to be a setback may be a setup for a greater blessing. Trusting divine timing is having the wisdom of the farmer, withholding judgment and remaining in a state of peaceful trust, no matter the apparent circumstances. So how do you thrive in this sacred waiting room? You do not put your life on hold. You fall madly in love with the present moment. Your joy is not contingent on your desire's arrival. You find beauty, pleasure, and meaning now. This high vibration of present moment happiness is not just a coping mechanism. It is an accelerator. It tells the universe you have learned the lesson of self-sourced joy, making you an even more powerful magnet for your desires. During this time, instead of looking for the final manifestation, train yourself to look for the evidence that you are on the right path. Look for the breadcrumbs. The universe leaves for you the synchronicities, the repeating numbers, the perfect song on the radio, the encouraging words from a friend. Acknowledge and celebrate each one as a loving wink from the cosmos, confirming that your order has been received and is being processed. And most importantly, you continue your inner work. The gestation period is the perfect time to deepen your practice of self-worth, to become an even more gracious receiver, and to sharpen your intuition. You are not passively waiting. You are actively becoming an even greater vibrational match for the magnificent reality that is being prepared for you. When you learn to trust in this way, you become unshakable. You are a wise gardener, at peace with the seasons, knowing that spring will always follow winter. This deep, internal stability, this hard-won faith, is a precious treasure. However, it can be powerfully influenced by the world around you. Your inner state of peace can be easily disrupted by external energetic noise. Therefore, to protect this sacred trust and to maintain your high frequency during the divine delay and beyond, it is essential that you become a conscious gatekeeper of your reality. You must learn to deliberately and masterfully curate your own energetic environment. Having cultivated a deep trust in the loving wisdom of divine timing, you have found peace in the sacred waiting period. You have become a wise gardener, at ease with the natural seasons of manifestation. This hard-won inner stability, however, is not a fortress. It is a delicate flame. To keep this flame of faith burning brightly, you must protect it from the winds and rains of the external world. You are a finely tuned energetic instrument, and your environment profoundly affects your resonance. To remain a clear channel for your desires, you must become a conscious, deliberate, and masterful curator of your energetic environment. Think of yourself as a living broadcast tower, constantly sending out a signal that creates your reality. At the same time, you are a receiver, constantly being influenced by the frequencies around you. You cannot broadcast a clear, high-frequency signal of joy and abundance if you are sitting in a room filled with noise and conflicting signals. Protecting your energy is not a selfish act of isolation. It is an essential act of vibrational hygiene. It is the sacred responsibility of ensuring the clarity of your own broadcast. Your most impactful energetic environment is your human environment. The people you spend time with are either radiators or drains. You know them instantly by how you feel in their presence. A drain is someone who operates from a low-frequency state of complaint, gossip, fear, and victimhood. After spending time with them, you feel depleted, tired, and heavy, as if your own life force has been siphoned off. They are black holes of psychic energy. A radiator, on the other hand, is someone who operates from a high-frequency state of optimism, encouragement, joy, and possibility. After spending time with them, you feel energized, inspired, and more hopeful about your own life. They are like a human sunbeam. You must, as an act of radical self-love, conduct a loving but firm audit of your social circle. This does not mean cruelly cutting people out of your life, but it does mean becoming a conscious investor of your most precious resource, your attention. It means lovingly limiting your exposure to chronic drains. It may mean shorter phone calls, meeting in neutral public spaces rather than your home, or simply declining invitations that you know will leave you feeling depleted. Simultaneously, you must actively seek out and cultivate relationships with radiators, join groups, attend workshops, and place yourself in environments where high-vibration people congregate. Surrounding yourself with those who believe in possibility makes it infinitely easier to hold the faith for your own. As the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose your average wisely, for it will determine your energetic altitude. Next, you must turn your attention to your physical environment. Your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. A cluttered, disorganized, and dirty home creates stagnant, chaotic energy. It is energetically difficult to call in new, beautiful experiences when you have no physical space for them to land. Your home should be your sanctuary, a sacred temple dedicated to your peace and well-being. The act of cleaning and decluttering is therefore a profound spiritual practice. It is a physical manifestation of making space for the new. No one has illuminated this principle more powerfully than Marie Kondo in her revolutionary audiobook, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Her method, though seemingly about organization, is a deep lesson in energetic curation. The central question she asks you to pose for every single item you own is not, is this useful? Or did I pay a lot for this? But a far more profound question, does it spark joy? This is a direct test of an object's vibrational resonance. By systematically going through your possessions and keeping only those things that give you a genuine, physical feeling of joy, you are literally raising the frequency of your entire home. You are transforming it from a storage unit of past obligations and forgotten identities into a living, breathing sanctuary filled only with energy that uplifts and inspires you. When you thank and release the items that no longer spark joy, you are also energetically releasing the past they represent, freeing up immense amounts of energy for your present and future, creating an external environment of order, beauty, and joy. Makes it infinitely easier to cultivate an internal state of order, beauty, and joy. Finally, and perhaps most critically in our modern age, you must curate your informational environment. Your mind is the most intimate environment you have, and what you allow into it directly shapes your emotional state and your vibrational frequency. Every day, you are presented with a choice. Will you consume a diet of energetic junk food? Or will you nourish your mind with high-frequency sustenance? The junk food is everywhere. It is the 24-hour news cycle, meticulously designed to keep you in a state of fear and outrage. It is the celebrity gossip that thrives on envy and judgment. It is the endless scroll of social media, an algorithmically crafted machine for generating comparison and feelings of inadequacy. Consuming this content is like voluntarily drinking small doses of poison. It lowers your vibration, reinforces a worldview of scarcity and danger, and makes it nearly impossible to hold a state of trust and optimism. Becoming a conscious curator of your informational diet is non-negotiable for a magnetic life. It requires active, vigilant gatekeeping. Unfollow the social media accounts that leave you feeling less than. Mute the friend who constantly posts political rants. Set firm time limits on your news consumption. Or better yet, replace it entirely with reading headlines from a neutral source once a day. This is not about being ignorant. It is about refusing to marinate your consciousness in fear. Then, you must deliberately replace that low-frequency input with high-frequency input. This is your soul's nourishment. It is the inspiring audiobook you listen to on your commute. It is the uplifting podcast that gives you new ideas. It is the classical music you play while you work. It is the beautiful art you choose to look at. It is consciously seeking out stories of human kindness, triumph, and innovation. You are what you eat. And this applies to your mind as well as your body. By feeding your mind a steady diet of beauty, inspiration, and positivity, you make a high vibration state your natural default, curating your environment in these three key areas: people, places, and information is one of the most powerful things you can do to support your creative journey. You are building a personal greenhouse, a protected, high-energy space where the seeds of your desires can germinate, safe from the frost of negativity and the weeds of doubt. This act of creating an outer sanctuary is a profound expression of self-love. It reinforces your worthiness and makes your entire being a more coherent and powerful magnet. However, creating a pristine greenhouse on the outside is only half the battle. What happens if, despite your best efforts, you discover there are toxins and old debts inside your energetic field to truly become a clear channel? You must now turn your attention inward and undertake the sacred work of clearing your past. You must learn to release the heaviest burdens of all, the burdens of resentment and unforgiveness. Having meticulously curated your external world, your relationships, your physical space, and your mental diet, you have constructed a beautiful, high-frequency greenhouse for your soul. You have created a sanctuary where your desires can be nurtured and protected. Now, we must turn our attention from the outer garden to the inner landscape. For what good is a pristine greenhouse if the soil within it is contaminated with the toxic residue of the past to become a truly clear and powerful channel for grace? You must undertake one of the most courageous and liberating acts of the human experience. You must clear your energetic debts. You must learn the profound alchemy of forgiveness. Holding on to resentment, anger, and old grievances is the spiritual equivalent of trying to swim the ocean while carrying a backpack full of heavy stones. It is an act of self-sabotage. You may believe your anger is a weapon you are wielding against the person who hurt you. But in truth, it is a poison you drink daily, hoping the other person will feel its effects. From an energetic perspective, unforgiveness is a thick, toxic cord that tethers you to the person or situation that caused you pain. This cord keeps you anchored to the low-vibration reality of your past, constantly draining your precious life force to feed an old wound. You cannot move forward into a bright, new future if you are energetically chained to the darkness behind you. Furthermore, the law of attraction makes no distinction between justified anger and any other kind. If your mind is constantly replaying a painful memory, and your body is constantly flooded with the chemistry of rage and victimhood, then that is the vibrational signal you are broadcasting. The universe, in its impartiality, can only deliver more experiences that will make you feel enraged and victimized. To break the cycle, you must be the one who chooses to cut the cord. It is here that we must completely redefine the act of forgiveness. For most of us resist it based on a profound misunderstanding of what it truly is. Let us be clear about what forgiveness is not. It is not condoning the other person's behavior. It is not saying, "What you did to me was okay." It is not forgetting the transgression. Nor is it necessarily about reconciling with the person who harmed you or allowing them back into your life. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you. It is a radical, unilateral act of self-love and liberation. It is the courageous decision to stop carrying the heavy stones of the past. It is the moment you choose to pull the knife out of your own heart and to stop allowing the old wound to define your present reality. Forgiveness is the act of reclaiming all of the power and energy you have been leaking to your past, so you can reinvest it in creating your magnificent future. And while forgiving others is crucial, the most profound and often most difficult act of grace is learning to forgive yourself. So many of us are haunted by the ghosts of our past selves, the mistakes we made, the people we hurt, the opportunities we missed. We carry a heavy burden of regret, shame, and guilt, and these are among the densest, lowest frequency emotions in existence. You must learn to look upon your past self with immense compassion. You did the best you could with the level of consciousness and the tools you had available at that time. To condemn who you were 5 or 10 years ago is as illogical as a university professor berating a first grader for not understanding quantum physics. That past version of you was doing what they thought was necessary to survive. Your work is not to punish that version of you, but to thank them for the lessons they learned, to forgive their mistakes, and to integrate their wisdom into the more evolved person you are today. The beloved spiritual teacher Don Miguel Ruiz, in his simple yet life-changing audiobook, The 4 Agreements, offers a powerful code of conduct for living in a way that prevents the accumulation of new energetic debt and helps dissolve the old. His second agreement, "Don't take anything personally," is perhaps the ultimate tool for forgiveness. Ruiz explains that whatever anyone else says or does is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. Their actions are a reflection of their own wounds, beliefs, and experiences. When you truly understand that another person's hurtful behavior is about them, not you, it loses its power to wound you. You can observe it without absorbing it. His third agreement, "Don't make assumptions," prevents you from creating painful stories and grievances where none exist. And his first agreement, "Be impeccable with your word," is a powerful tool for self-forgiveness. It means you must stop using the power of your word to attack yourself, to replay your failures, and to reinforce your guilt. You must use your word to speak kindness and grace to yourself, to affirm your worthiness, and to declare your past officially healed and complete. To aid in this process, you can use powerful rituals of release. One of the most effective is writing the letter you will never send. Find a quiet time and space, and on paper, write a raw, uncensored letter to the person or situation you need to forgive. Do not hold back. Pour out all of your rage, your pain, your sadness, your disappointment. Fill pages with it if you must. When you feel you have emptied yourself of all the poison, end the letter with the words, "I have said all that needs to be said. I forgive you. I release you. I set myself free." Then, in a safe and controlled manner, burn the letter. As you watch the paper turn to smoke and ash, visualize all the heavy, toxic energy of that old wound being transmuted into light, released from your being forever. Another beautiful and profound practice is the ancient Hawaiian healing mantra of Ho'oponopono. It consists of 4 simple phrases: "I'm sorry," "Please forgive me," "Thank you," "I love you," You can repeat this mantra while thinking of the person or situation. You are not necessarily apologizing to them. You are speaking to the divine, or to the part of your own consciousness that co-created that painful reality. You are taking responsibility for the pain living within your own energy field. I'm sorry for the part of me that attracted or participated in this painful dynamic. Please forgive me for holding on to this grievance for so long. Thank you for the lessons this experience has taught me. And I love you to the situation, to the other person's soul, and most importantly, to yourself. Flooding the entire memory with the highest, most healing frequency in the universe. When you commit to this sacred work of clearing your energetic debts, you will feel an extraordinary lightness, as if you have set down a burden you didn't even realize you were carrying. Your energy field becomes clearer, your heart becomes more open, and your point of attraction rises significantly. You have curated your outer world into a sanctuary and cleansed your inner world of its toxins. You are now a clean slate, a clear channel. But as you stand in this magnificent, open space of new potential, a familiar and cynical voice may begin to whisper from the wings. It is the voice of your logical mind, your ego, looking upon this new, magical way of being with deep skepticism. Having cleared the emotional baggage of your past, you must now learn how to skillfully engage with the intellectual challenges of your present. You must learn how to dance with doubt. Having journeyed through the sacred work of forgiveness, you have cleansed your inner temple. You have curated your outer world into a sanctuary and cleared the energetic debts of your past. The channel between you and the universe is clearer and more open than it has ever been. You are standing in a space of immense potential, a clean slate upon which to write a magnificent new story. And it is precisely in this moment of quiet potential that a familiar, cynical voice often chooses to make its grand entrance. It is the voice of doubt, the inner skeptic, the ghostly roommate in your mind who rolls its eyes when you meditate and whispers, "This is all nonsense." After a moment of profound peace, if you are experiencing this, hear this with perfect clarity. The emergence of doubt is not a sign that you are failing. It is, in fact, a sign that you are succeeding. Doubt is the immune response of the ego, triggered by the introduction of a new, high-frequency way of being your entire life. Your ego has worked tirelessly at its primary job, keeping you safe. And to the ego, safety means familiarity. Your old reality, even if it was a reality of struggle, lack, and heartache, was a known quantity. It was a predictable pain, a comfortable prison. Your ego knew the rules of that game. This new reality you are creating, one of flow, trust, abundance, and intuitive guidance, is uncharted territory. It is unknown, and the ego perceives the unknown as a threat to your survival. And so, it deploys its most trusted weapons to pull you back to the familiar shoreline of your old limitations. It unleashes the armies of doubt, fear, ridicule, and cynical logic. Your first instinct will be to fight it. You will want to argue with the voice of doubt, to present it with a logical case for why this new path is better. This is a battle you will never win. Trying to out-logic your ego is like trying to win an argument with a fog machine. It will generate endless what-ifs and buts until you are exhausted and demoralized. Arguing with doubt only gives it more of your energy and attention, making it stronger and more persistent. You cannot bully yourself into a state of faith. The path to freedom lies not in fighting the doubt, but in changing your relationship to it. You must shift from being a combatant to being a compassionate, detached observer. This is the practice of becoming the silent witness, the awareness behind the thought. You are not the voice of doubt. You are the one who hears the voice of doubt. When that cynical thought arises, This will never work. You're just fooling yourself. You do not engage it. You do not believe it. You simply notice it. As if you were a scientist observing a curious phenomenon, you can even greet it with a sense of warm detachment. Ah, there you are. Doubt. Hello. I see you're on duty today. Thank you for your concern and for trying so hard to protect me. But I am safe. I've got this. Imagine your consciousness as a vast, clear blue sky. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations are simply weather patterns that move through it. A joyful thought is a patch of sunshine. A sad feeling is a rain cloud. A thought of doubt is just a dark, gray cloud drifting by. Your old habit was to see the dark cloud, fly directly into it, and declare that the entire sky was now dark and gray. Your new practice is to remain as the sky itself, acknowledging the cloud's presence without identifying with it. You see the cloud of doubt. You feel its momentary shadow, and you allow it to drift on by, knowing that you, the sky, remain vast, clear, and unchanged. A wise teacher once offered the perfect metaphor for this practice: the shepherd and the black sheep. Imagine your higher self. Your conscious intention is a shepherd. Your thoughts and feelings are the flock. And doubt is the one noisy, troublesome black sheep that is always lagging behind and bleating about how the grass is probably poisonous up ahead. Affrontique. Unskilled shepherd would abandon the entire flock to chase after this one black sheep, trying to force it into submission or kick it out of the herd. In doing so, he loses control of the other 99 sheep, and the entire flock is thrown into chaos. The wise shepherd, however, simply acknowledges the black sheep's presence. He hears its bleating, but he doesn't take his eyes off the destination, the lush, green pastures ahead. He keeps his focus on leading the entire flock forward. The black sheep can complain all it wants, but as long as the shepherd keeps moving forward, the black sheep is inevitably pulled along with the rest of the flock toward a better reality. You must become this wise shepherd. Acknowledge your doubt, but lead with your focus. Lead with your intention. To strengthen your resolve as the shepherd, you must build your own book of evidence. This is a profoundly practical tool. Get a physical journal and dedicate it solely to this purpose. Title it your evidence journal or your book of proof. Your assignment is to become a detective in your own life, hunting for evidence that these energetic principles are real and that they are working for you. You must record every single manifestation, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Did you think of an old friend and they texted you that day? Write it down. Did you need a parking spot in a crowded lot and one miraculously opened up right in front of you? Write it down. Did you have a gut feeling not to take a certain route and later found out there was a major traffic jam? Write it down. Did you decide to feel the feeling of receiving a free cup of coffee and a coworker brought you one the next day? Write it down. This journal will become your most sacred text. It is your personal, undeniable proof, written in your own hand, that you are a powerful creator and that the universe is in constant conversation with you. Then, when the voice of doubt gets particularly loud and insistent, you do not argue with it. You simply say, "Let's consult the data." And you open your journal and read a few entries. The ego's vague, fearful generalizations cannot stand up to the power of specific, documented evidence. You are retraining your own mind to believe in magic by proving to it, time and time again, that magic is your natural way of being, by observing your doubt without judgment, and by arming yourself with your own irrefutable proof. You learn to dance with your inner skeptic rather than be paralyzed by it. Doubt might never disappear entirely, for it is part of the ego's protective mechanism. But it no longer has to be the one in charge. It is demoted from the driver's seat to a passenger in the back. And its voice grows fainter and fainter as you continue confidently on your journey. Now that you have learned how to peacefully manage the reactive voice of doubt, it is time to learn how to proactively create a new reality with the most powerful manifesting tool you possess. It is time to explore the divine, world-building magic of your own word. Having learned to compassionately dance with the voice of doubt, you have reclaimed your inner peace. You no longer need to fight your own mind. You are now ready to move from a state of passive observation to one of active, potent creation. Using the most direct and powerful tool of command you possess, your word. Every word you speak is an incantation. Every sentence is a spell. The act of spelling is, quite literally, the casting of a spell. Your words are not merely descriptive sounds. They are creative forces that send precise, instructional vibrations into the quantum field, commanding the energy of the universe to arrange itself according to your decree. It is time to stop speaking by default and to become a conscious magician, wielding your word as the powerful wand it was always meant to be. This is why, for so many, the practice of affirmations has been a frustrating disappointment. People stand in front of a mirror, mechanically repeating, "I am wealthy. I am wealthy," while their entire being screams with the feeling of lack. They are casting a weak spell with their words, while simultaneously broadcasting a tidal wave of contradictory energy with their feelings. The universe, which always responds to the dominant vibration, can only reflect back the feeling of lack, not the empty words. An affirmation spoken from a place of disbelief is like a car with no engine. There is no power to move it from its current position. For your words to have creative power, they must be aligned with the fuel of your emotion and the certainty of your belief. There are 3 essential principles to crafting affirmations that truly work. Declarations that can reshape your reality. The first is to always speak in the present tense. You must claim your desire as a present fact. The 2 most powerful creative words in the English language are I am. When you say I am, you are making a divine declaration of being. A statement like I will be happy or I want to be abundant is a subtle but profound act of self-sabotage. It affirms that happiness and abundance are in the future, thus locking them perpetually in a state that you can never reach. You must abandon the language of becoming and adopt the language of being. You are not trying to get there. You are declaring that you have already arrived. I am joyful. I am loved. I am financially free. The second principle is to infuse your words with vibrant, evocative emotion. An affirmation should be a miniature poem, not a dry, technical statement. The statement I have a new job is energetically flat. Compare it to I am so grateful and thrilled, celebrating my wonderful new position, where I share my talents joyfully and am rewarded abundantly. Can you feel the difference? The second statement is alive. It is rich with the emotional frequencies of gratitude, joy, and purpose. As you craft your declarations, use words that make your heart sing. Your nervous system and the universe itself respond to the richness of the feeling, not the austerity of the fact. The third, and most crucial, principle is to embody the feeling as you speak the words. An affirmation is not just a vocal exercise. It is a full-body experience. As you declare, I am living in a state of vibrant health and boundless energy. You must feel the sensation of that energy coursing through your veins. As you declare, I am safe and cherished in a loving relationship. You must generate the feeling of warmth and security in your heart. You must align the vibration of your words with the vibration of your body. Close your eyes. Speak your affirmation slowly and with conviction. and allow the feeling state of its truth to flood every cell of your being. When the word and the feeling become one, you have cast a powerful and irresistible spell. A more advanced and often more playful technique to bypass the skeptical ego is the use of what are known as affirmations. Instead of making a statement that the ego can argue with, you ask a question that presupposes the reality of your desire. The human mind is a relentless question-answering machine. If you state, "I am rich," your ego might immediately counter with, "No, you're not. Look at your bills." But if you ask the question, "Why is it so easy for me to make and receive large sums of money?" your mind is forced to skip the argument and start searching for answers. It begins to hunt for evidence to support the question's premise. Other powerful affirmations include, "Why am I so lucky in love? Why do I always find myself in the right place at the right time? Why does my body heal so quickly and easily?" This practice playfully tricks the ego and sets your powerful subconscious mind on a creative quest to make the premise of the question true. The foundational wisdom of this practice was taught masterfully by the great New Thought pioneer, Florence Scovel Shinn, in her timeless audiobook, The Game of Life and How to Play It. She teaches that your word is your wand. She instructs that we must speak the word for our desires, which is not a timid request but a bold, authoritative command, made with the faith that the universe is your obedient servant. Shinn also taught the powerful practice of using denials alongside your affirmations. When confronted with an appearance of lack or sickness, you must first deny its power over you. You can declare, "I deny that this appearance of lack has any reality or any power over me. It is an illusion, and the only truth is divine abundance." After clearing the space with the denial, you then powerfully speak your affirmation of truth. This provides a potent tool for dealing with the contradictory evidence of the 3D world, refusing to give it your creative energy. This brings us to the other side of this magical coin. If you're conscious, positive words are powerful spells for good. Then you're unconscious, negative words are unintentional curses that you cast upon yourself daily. Every time you casually say, "I'm always so broke before payday," you are giving a direct command to your subconscious and the universe to create that reality for you. Every time you joke, "I'm so stupid," you are casting a spell of incompetence. Every time you sigh, "Good things just never happen for me," you are making a powerful declaration that the universe must, by law, obey. This is not a call for paranoia, for you cannot monitor every one of your 60,000 daily thoughts. It is, however, a call to mindful awareness. It is the practice of catching yourself when you engage in negative self-talk and lovingly course-correcting. You can even use a simple command, like cancel, clear, delete, and immediately replace the negative curse with a positive, life-affirming declaration. You must become the vigilant guardian of the words spoken in the sacred temple of your mind. You are a divine orator, a cosmic poet. Your words are the brushstrokes that paint the canvas of your life. You have learned to calm the inner skeptic and to now speak with the authority of a master creator, charging your words with the emotion of your fulfilled desire. You are shaping your energy field with profound skill and precision, but energy, even when perfectly sculpted by your word, must eventually move and coalesce into physical form. It must take action. This now leads us to the crucial distinction between the frantic, forced action of the ego and the graceful, powerful, and infinitely more effective magic of inspired action. Having learned to wield your word as a creative wand, shaping the energy around you with conscious, loving intent, you have reached a pivotal point in your journey. You have aligned your inner world, your beliefs, feelings, and words with the reality you wish to experience. It is at this stage that a common question arises. Do I just sit here and wait? This is a crucial misunderstanding of the creative process. Action is a joyful and necessary part of manifestation, but it must be the right kind of action. The universe does not reward struggle. It rewards alignment. We must now explore the profound and life-altering distinction between the exhausting effort of forced action and the potent magic of inspired action. Forced action is the default mode of the ego and the conditioned mind. It is the energy of the chase, applied to your to-do list. It is born from the belief that you alone are responsible for making things happen. It operates from a place of fear, control, and a deep-seated distrust in the universe's support. Forced action feels heavy. It feels like a duty, an obligation, a chore. It is the mountain of work you believe you should do, have to do, or must do in order to be worthy of your desire. It is pushing a giant boulder uphill, fueled by anxiety and the belief that if you stop pushing for even a moment, the boulder will roll back and crush you. Inspired action is something else entirely. It is the physical expression of your intuition. It is the next logical step on the path of least resistance. It is born from a state of trust, surrender, and alignment. Inspired action feels light, joyful, and often effortless. It doesn't feel like pushing a boulder. It feels like stepping onto a moving walkway that gracefully carries you forward. It rarely comes from a place of frantic, logical planning. Instead, it often arrives as a quiet nudge, as une creative idea, a spontaneous urge that appears in your mind after you have let go and surrendered the outcome. Forced action is trying to swim upstream against the current. Inspired action is turning your boat around, dropping it into the flow, and allowing the river of life to carry you, using your paddle only for a gentle, occasional steer. Consider the story of an entrepreneur, a woman we will call Sarah. Sarah had a brilliant business idea, but she was struggling. She had read all the books on success, and she was committed to the hustle. She worked 18-hour days, fueled by caffeine and fear. She spent her mornings making 100 cold calls from a list, an activity that made her stomach churn and yielded almost no results. She spent her afternoons writing complex marketing proposals, and her evenings forcing herself to go to networking events where she would plaster on a smile and feel completely drained. She was pushing the boulder with all her might, but her business was on the brink of failure. She was exhausted, burnt out, and felt like a complete fraud. One day, in sheer desperation, she did something different. She gave up. She surrendered. She turned off her computer, left her phone in the other room, and simply went for a long walk in the woods with no agenda. She looked at the trees, listened to the birds, and for the first time in months, she truly let go of the need to control the outcome. She released the how to the universe. Later that evening, feeling more peaceful than she had in years, she was relaxing when a random thought gently floated into her mind: the name of her old college roommate, a friend she hadn't spoken to in nearly a decade. There was no logical reason to think of her. It was just a quiet, simple nudge. It didn't feel heavy or urgent. It just felt interesting. Instead of dismissing it, Sarah followed this whisper of inspired action. She found her friend on social media and sent a short, friendly message, with no agenda or sales pitch, simply saying hello and that she had been thinking of her. The next morning, she received an ecstatic reply. It turned out her friend had recently been promoted to a senior position at a large corporation, and her department was desperately searching for a consultant with the exact niche skills that Sarah's business offered. They had been unable to find anyone suitable. Within a week, Sarah had signed a contract that was worth more than all her frantic efforts from the previous year combined. That one. Light. Easy. Joyful action was infinitely more powerful than 1,000 desperate, forced ones. That is the difference between hustle and flow. So, how do you learn to recognize the difference in your own life? You must become a connoisseur of feeling before you take an action, especially one that feels heavy or overwhelming. Pause and ask your body, does the thought of this action feel expansive or contractive? Does it bring a sense of lightness and excitement, or a feeling of dread and obligation? Your body is your infallible truth teller. Learn to trust its signals. Notice the timing. Forced action often carries a frantic, desperate energy of, I have to do this right now. Inspired action, however, usually feels calm and appropriately timed. It feels like the next obvious piece of a puzzle effortlessly clicking into place. It has a quality of grace and rightness to it. And finally, look at the effort-to-result ratio in your life. Begin to notice which of your actions create the most significant, positive results with the least amount of struggle. You will likely find that your greatest successes have come not from your hardest struggles, but from moments of grace, from a chance encounter, a bright idea, or a simple, easy conversation. This is not a coincidence. This is the universe showing you the mechanics of inspired action. This does not mean you will never have to work hard or be disciplined. The writer must still show up to the page. The musician must still practice their scales. But the energy behind the action is what matters. You can show up to the page from a place of joyful, channeled inspiration, or from a place of grueling, forced discipline. The results, both in the quality of the work and the quality of your life, will be worlds apart. Your journey is no longer about trying to make things happen. It is about aligning your energy so profoundly that you become a vessel for inspiration. You do the inner work, you get clear on your desire. You embody the feeling. You surrender the outcome, and then you listen. You pay attention. And when the gentle, joyful nudge of inspired action comes, you act on it without hesitation. When you begin to live in this way, trusting your intuitive hits and taking these light, easy steps, something truly magical begins to occur. You will start to notice the world conspiring on your behalf. Seemingly random events will connect in perfect and meaningful ways. A conversation with a stranger, a book falling off a shelf, a song on the radio, all will seem to be part of a larger, intelligent, and benevolent conversation. This is not your imagination. It is a sign that you have entered the divine current. You have entered the flow of synchronicity as you begin to operate from a place of aligned, inspired action. You will start to notice a change in the very fabric of your reality. The world will begin to feel less random, less chaotic, and infinitely more intelligent and responsive. You will start to experience moments of uncanny timing and profound coincidence that will give you goosebumps. You may think of an old friend from whom you haven't heard in years, and your phone will buzz with their name a moment later. You may have a pressing question on your mind, only to overhear the perfect answer in a stranger's conversation at a cafe. You may see a recurring sequence of numbers, like 1111. Every time you think about your deepest desire, these are not meaningless accidents. These are moments of synchronicity, and they are the universe winking at you. They are the breadcrumbs left on the trail by a loving and intelligent cosmos to let you know that you are on the right path, that you are heard, and that you are being guided every step of the way. Learning to recognize and follow the trail of synchronicity is how you move from being a solitary creator to being a divine partner in a magical cosmic dance. The term synchronicity was coined by the legendary Swiss psychologist Carl Jung to describe these events. He defined it as a meaningful coincidence, a situation where an inner event, like a thought or a dream, is connected to an outer event in a way that has no conventional causal explanation, yet is profoundly meaningful to the person experiencing it. The key word is meaningful. A simple coincidence is random. A synchronicity feels personal. It has an electric charge to it, a sense of wonder, a feeling that you have just peeked behind the curtain of ordinary reality and witnessed the hidden machinery of the universe at work. To live in a state of flow is to live a life rich with synchronicity. It is the ultimate confirmation that you have successfully shifted your state of being. It is proof that you are no longer trying to force your will upon the world, but have instead aligned yourself with its natural, benevolent current. These events are the universe's way of communicating with you, of affirming your choices, and of gently nudging you in the right direction. A synchronicity might be a confirmation, like seeing your desired company's logo everywhere after a great job interview. It might be an answer, like the book that falls off the shelf at a bookstore, open to the exact page containing the wisdom you need. Or it might be a course correction, like a series of frustrating obstacles and red lights that prevent you from pursuing a path that is not for your highest good. The adventure novel The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, which we have touched upon before, can be read as a grand instruction manual for living a synchronistic life. The protagonist's entire spiritual awakening is a journey of learning to trust these meaningful coincidences. At first, he dismisses them as odd, but he soon learns that they are not random at all. They are part of a larger, invisible choreography, a divine dialogue guiding him toward personal and planetary evolution. He discovers that when he is in a state of open, appreciative awareness, the synchronicities increase in frequency and clarity, creating a clear path for him to follow. This book serves as a powerful reminder that this magical way of life is not a fantasy. It is the natural human experience when we are awake, aware, and in alignment with the flow of universal energy. So how do you invite more of this magic into your own life? How do you become a magnet for meaningful coincidences? The first and most important step is simply to pay attention. You cannot see the winks from the universe if your eyes are closed. You must adopt the mindset that there are no accidents. Begin to look for the meaning, the message, the connection in the events of your day. Start a section in your evidence journal specifically for synchronicities. When one occurs, write it down. This simple act of noticing and recording tells the universe, "Message received, I'm listening. Keep them coming." You will be astonished at how, once you start looking for them, they appear everywhere. The second step is to cultivate a state of openness and curiosity. Synchronicity cannot thrive in a rigid, over-planned life. If you are clinging tightly to your own agenda and your own timeline, you will be blind to the magical detours and surprising shortcuts the universe presents to you. You must be willing to deviate from your plan when an intuitive nudge, coupled with a synchronistic sign, points you in a new direction. It is about trusting that the universe's plan for you is far more brilliant and efficient than your own. The third step is to respond with gratitude. Every time a synchronicity occurs, no matter how small, offer a sincere, heartfelt thank you to the universe. Feel the genuine appreciation for the guidance, for the confirmation, for the love that is being shown to you. Gratitude is a powerful amplifier. By appreciating these messages, you strengthen your connection to the intelligence that is sending them, creating a positive feedback loop of divine communication. And finally, you must act on the guidance you receive. A synchronicity is often paired with an inspired action. Seeing a billboard for a yoga class is the sign. Feeling the light, joyful urge to sign up is the inspired action. Hearing about a job opening from 3 different people in one day is the sign. Sending in your resume with a feeling of calm confidence is the inspired action. Synchronicity points the way, but you must still be the one to walk the path. Living a synchronistic life is the ultimate reward for all your inner work. It is a life where struggle is replaced by flow, where anxiety is replaced by wonder, and where a feeling of lonely separation is replaced by a sense of constant, intimate partnership with the cosmos. You no longer feel like you are fighting your way through life. You feel as though you are being carried by a current of grace. You feel seen, supported, and endlessly loved. This magical way of being, however, is not a happy accident. It does not happen by chance. It is the natural and predictable result of consistently applying all the principles we have discussed. From building your self-worth, to mastering your emotions, to surrendering control. To ensure that this flow of synchronicity becomes not just a fleeting experience, but your permanent way of life. You must now learn to weave these individual practices into a cohesive daily ritual. You must commit to living, day in and day out, a truly magnetic lifestyle. You have journeyed through the vast, magical landscape of your own inner world. You have learned to trust your intuition, to wield your emotions as creative power, and to dance in the divine flow of synchronicity. This knowledge is priceless. But knowledge alone is merely a map. To actually travel to the destination, to embody this new reality, you must put the map to use every single day. The magic is not in knowing the principles. It is in living them. A magnetic life is not built on a single grand decision, but is woven, thread by thread, from the small, consistent, sacred rituals you perform daily. It is time to become the architect of your days and build a lifestyle of magnetism. A ritual is not a chore. It is a sacred appointment you make with your own soul and with the universe. It is an act of conscious devotion that automates your alignment. Just as you brush your teeth each day for your physical hygiene, you perform these rituals for your vibrational hygiene. They are the way you deliberately tune your energetic instrument to the frequency of your desires, ensuring you broadcast a clear, powerful, and coherent signal into the cosmos. The most critical ritual of all is your morning ritual. How you spend the first hour of your day determines the energetic trajectory for the next 23. Most people begin their day in a state of reaction. The alarm blares, they grab their phone, and within seconds they are flooded with the cortisol-inducing energy of bad news, stressful emails, and the curated, comparison-generating highlight reels of other people's lives. They begin their day on the defensive, already in a state of lack and anxiety. A conscious creator does the opposite. You must claim your morning as a sacred, creative space. You must win the morning to win the day. A powerful and highly effective framework for this is detailed in the audiobook The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. He proposes a simple, customizable routine based on the acronym S, A, V, E, R, S. First is S for silence. This is your time to sit in quiet meditation, to breathe deeply, and to connect with your inner self before the noise of the world intrudes. Even 5 minutes of stillness can set a tone of profound peace. Next is A for affirmations. This is where you speak your powerful, present tense declarations into existence, verbally claiming the reality you are creating. Then comes V for visualization. You can use this time to visualize your day unfolding with perfect grace and ease, or to immerse yourself in the feeling state of your larger goals, as if they were already accomplished. E is for exercise. This doesn't have to be an hour at the gym. It can be 5 minutes of stretching, jumping jacks, or yoga to get the energy moving through your body and shift your physiological state. R is for reading. Spend just a few minutes reading a couple of pages from an inspiring Uplifting book, something that feeds your soul and raises your consciousness. And finally, S is for scribing. This is journaling. You can write down what you are grateful for. Script your perfect day as if it has already happened. Or simply clear your mind on the page. You do not need to spend hours on this. The miracle is that even a 6-minute routine, 1 minute dedicated to each of these practices, can radically transform the quality of your life. It is an act of starting your day with pure, focused intention. Of course, life will happen, and the world will attempt to pull you from your high-frequency center. This is why you must also incorporate small, mindful practices throughout your day. Set a few quiet alarms on your phone, not for a task, but as an energetic check-in. When the alarm sounds, simply pause. Take 3 deep, conscious breaths, and ask yourself, how do I feel right now? What am I vibrating? This simple act of awareness allows you to consciously recalibrate your frequency throughout the day. When you feel stress rising, use your breath as an anchor. A few slow, deep breaths can instantly calm your nervous system and bring you back to the present moment, interrupting the pattern of anxiety before it can gain momentum. Just as you begin your day with intention, you must end it with intention. Your evening ritual is about gracefully releasing the energy of the day and preparing your subconscious mind for a night of creative work. An hour or so before sleep, declare a digital sunset. Turn off the screens, especially the news and social media. This allows your brain and nervous system to wind down. You can use this time for gentle stretching, listening to calming music, or reading something inspirational. This is also a perfect time to journal, to write down any lingering worries or frustrations from the day, effectively releasing them onto the page so you do not carry them into your sleep. And most importantly, your evening is your prime opportunity to practice the SOTS technique we learned from Neville Goddard. As you lie in that drowsy, receptive state, you loop the scene of your wish fulfilled, marinating in the feeling of its reality, and planting that potent seed into your subconscious to be nurtured as you sleep. Finally, end your conscious day with gratitude. Mentally list 3 amazing things that happened during the day, no matter how small. This trains your brain to constantly scan for the good, ensuring you end your day in a frequency of appreciation. The true power of this magnetic lifestyle is not found in perfection, but in consistency. You will miss a day. You will have moments of low vibration. That is part of the human experience. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be persistent. Each time you choose to perform one of these rituals, you are casting a vote for your new reality. You are strengthening your connection to your higher self and building the muscle of conscious creation. Over weeks and months, the cumulative effect of these small, daily practices is monumental, like a river gently carving its way through stone. Your consistent rituals will reshape the entire landscape of your life. This is the ultimate shift. You cease to be a person who is practicing the law of attraction, and you become a person who is a living embodiment of it. It is no longer something you do, it is who you are. Your magnetic state becomes your natural default. And when you commit to living in this way, a profound change occurs. The neediness falls away. The chase ends. You stop looking outside of yourself for anything, because you are generating a universe of joy, peace, and abundance from within. You are no longer the seeker. You become the destination. You become the lighthouse. We began this journey together with the image of a person running on a treadmill, breathless and exhausted, forever chasing a horizon that never drew closer. Feel that person for a moment. Remember their frantic energy, their quiet desperation, the ache in their soul. Now, let that image dissolve. Take a deep, conscious breath and replace it with a new image. For it is the image of who you have now become. See a tall, strong, magnificent lighthouse, standing firm on a foundation of solid rock at the edge of a great ocean. The sun glints off its clean, white walls. It is elegant, it is powerful, and it is profoundly at peace. This lighthouse is you, and its entire purpose is not to chase, but simply to shine. Let us look closely at this lighthouse you have become. Its foundation, plunged deep into the bedrock of the earth, is your unshakable self-worth. It is no longer built on the shifting sands of external validation or other people's opinions, but on the absolute, internal knowing of your own intrinsic value. The powerful, elegant structure of the tower itself is the divine masculine energy. You have cultivated the discipline of your daily rituals, the clarity of your boundaries, the focus of your intention. It provides the container, the form, the stability to withstand any storm. And at the very top, within the lantern root, burns a brilliant, radiant, and unwavering light. This light is your soul, your unique essence, your divine feminine energy. It is fueled by the high-frequency emotions of joy and gratitude you have learned to generate. It is focused and directed by the clarity of your word. This is the complete, integrated, magnetic being you have worked so diligently to uncover. Now, observe how this lighthouse functions. Its purpose is to guide the ship safely to shore. But notice what it does not do. The lighthouse does not worry about the ships. It does not fret about whether they are on course. It does not detach itself from its foundation and run frantically up and down the coastline, screaming at the ships to follow it. To do so would be absurd. To do so would be to abandon its very nature and its power. The lighthouse understands its role with profound simplicity. Its only job is to be a lighthouse. Its only function is to tend to its own inner light and to shine it as brightly and as clearly as possible. Without apology and without condition, it trusts that the light itself is enough. It knows that the ships that are meant for its harbor will see the light and navigate their own way toward it. This is the ultimate secret of the magnetic life. You must stop trying to do and instead focus on who you are being. We live in a world that asks, "What do you do?" And we answer with a job title or a role. We have been conditioned to believe our value lies in our actions. But the universe asks a different, more profound question. Who are you being? The magnetic answer is not a role, but a state of consciousness. I am peace. I am love. I am joy. I am abundance. When you make being your primary focus, the doing flows from it with effortless grace. You no longer have to figure out how to do abundance. You simply operate from a state of being abundant, and your actions naturally reflect that. You no longer have to search for ways to do love. You act as a being of love, and your world transforms around you. The being always precedes the doing. Your state of being is the cause. Your actions and your reality are the effect. When you fully embrace your role as the lighthouse, a beautiful and surprising thing happens. You realize that your light is not just for you. You realize that the journey of becoming magnetic is not a selfish pursuit. As you stand in your power, shining your unique frequency of peace and wholeness into the world, you become a beacon for others who are still lost in their own storms. Your friend, caught in a spiral of anxiety, will feel a sense of calm in your presence without you saying a word. Your colleague, trapped in a cycle of scarcity and fear, will be inspired by the ease and flow in your life. Your very presence becomes an act of service. Your peace gives others permission to find their own. Your joy reminds others that joy is possible. You do not need to preach or to teach or to fix anyone. You simply need to be the lighthouse. By tending to your own light, You illuminate the path for everyone around you. This is the most generous and impactful thing you could ever possibly do. This is not a final destination, a static state of perfect enlightenment you arrive at once and for all. Life will still bring its tides and its storms. The winds of doubt will still blow, and waves of circumstance will still crash against your shore. But you will no longer be a tiny boat tossed about by these forces. You are the lighthouse, anchored to the rock. The storms may rage, but your foundation is firm. Your light may flicker for a moment, but you now know exactly how to tend to it, how to polish the lens through forgiveness, how to refuel it with gratitude. You will continue the sacred dance between the masculine and the feminine, between doing and being. But now, your being leads the dance. Your inner state of peace and power becomes the unchanging anchor around which the weather of your life revolves. So stand tall in this new understanding of who you are. Your purpose is not to struggle, strive, or chase. Your purpose is to be the unique, brilliant, and magnificent expression of life that only you can be. To trust that your authentic light is more than enough. It is what the world is waiting for. It is what your desires are searching for. You are the lighthouse. Your only responsibility and your greatest joy is simply to shine. This is the ultimate truth of becoming magnetic. It is not a technique you have learned, but a profound and timeless truth you have finally remembered about your own divine and radiant nature. We have traveled a great distance together, on a journey not across land or sea, but through the vast and luminous landscapes of your own inner world. We began with the frantic, depleting energy of the chase, and have arrived at the calm, magnetic power of the lighthouse. We journeyed through the rediscovery of your own worth, the clearing of old debts, the mastery of your emotions, and the profound peace of surrender. We learned that the universe is not a withholding parent to be pleaded with, but a loving and responsive partner, waiting for the clear signal of your own aligned energy. You have gathered all the tools and remembered all the ancient truths. You have done the work, and the ultimate truth, the core message of this entire journey, is this: your magnetic power is not a skill you have acquired, but a birthright you have reclaimed. It is not something you learned, but something you remembered. The universe is not responding to your effort. It is responding to your essence. Your power does not lie in what you do, in the tasks you complete, or the goals you conquer. It lies, and has always lain, in the simple, profound, and unwavering state of who you are being. Peace is not a destination to be reached after a long struggle. It is a frequency you choose to inhabit now. Love is not a prize to be won. It is the very fabric of your being, waiting to be expressed. And abundance is not something you accumulate. It is the natural state of a universe that knows no lack. A state you align with the moment you realize you are already whole. You hold all the keys. You are the architect, the artist, and the creator of your reality. The frantic search is over. The need for external validation has dissolved. The power was never out there in the job, the relationship, or the bank account. It was always and will always be inside of you. So take a deep breath. Feel the solid ground of your own being beneath your feet. Feel the radiant light of your own soul shining from your heart. Stop chasing the world and allow the world, in all its wonder and magnificence, to be drawn to the undeniable gravity of a soul that knows its own light and has finally, joyfully, chosen to shine.